But football's become soft like our country has become soft.
And so having said that, I want me some glory hole.
I'm going to drink a lot of Budweiser tonight, Tracy, and I promise you that.
Hello? You play to win the game.
Play like that. How'd you punt so well today? I'm like, good question.
Did you realize that you were a champion in their eyes? Yes, I did. So I packed it up and brought it back to the crib.
Welcome back to Laces Out. That's at Laces Out Show on Instagram and on Twitter. AJ and Pat, we've got metric butt tons of football to talk about. We've got awards to give out. But before we do, this is our special Halloween episode. So just quickly want to get for you guys what Halloween is to you. Where is it on your radar, Pat? Are you doing anything for it? Do you ever?
I understand the appeal and the allure of Halloween. You know, like I understand why people like it. I, in college, dressed up like Lieutenant Dangle one year, had my thighs out, was stopping traffic at 2:30 a.m. in the middle of Morgantown with a whistle and white gloves. I dressed up like one of those fan penises, like, you know, like the full where your head is right there at the shaft and your feet are going out the balls. You know, one of them with the fan on in the back. I went out as one of them one year. I went out as I think it was Super Penis Man. No, Penis Man. I had a cape on that was the shape of a penis and was very obvious. And it just kind of flew around on my back all day. It was set up as if it was out. So does that make sense? I dressed up as a, what was the name of that skier? What was it? Alpine skier? What was I? Do you remember that costume? I think, what's like the straight down fast as you fucking can, straight down. And then
Jump?
Yeah, the ski jumpers, them. I dressed up as one of them, wore all white tights and rollerblades an entire evening in Morgantown, West Virginia. Morgantown, West Virginia is all mountains. They're called the Mountaineers. Imagine being on rollerblades, blacked out drunk, just rolling around Morgantown. It was not good. It was a poor decision. I understand it, but as an adult, it's not one of my favorites. I don't enjoy it. I gained so much weight because I have zero fucking discipline if there's a Reese's around me. How the fuck are you supposed to say no to it? And there's 200 in my house, and I'll eat every single one of them, and then I'll feel like I have to do cardio, and I hate cardio, then my knees are hurt. Halloween is just not one of my favorites right now. I got Christmas, Thanksgiving, and even Hanukkah, because that's a good time too, above Halloween.
What about you, AJ?
Wow. I don't really care either way. It's fine. I have kids, so it's a lot different for me now. But I always wondered. So Jerry, your son is what, 16?
Yeah.
Is he?
So
will he be trick or treating?
That in between spot where he might have gone maybe 1 year longer than kids typically do, but then there's this period where you don't do it until you hit college, and then it goes off the chain. That's when start dressing up.
I feel like in high school. Hold on. You did not in high school up there? You guys don't do it in high school? I feel like we did it in high school.
Wait, you mean trick or treat or dress up?
The whole thing. I feel like we had Halloween parties. Like, I feel like we got down.
Yeah. In high school, but there's no way you went around door to door getting candy in high school.
No.
Okay.
At that point.
Well, that's a lot of work. Did we? I don't remember. I don't think it was a normal thing.
No, once you get past, say, maybe 14 or 15, showing up at someone's door asking for treats is basically just
Legendary?
Extortion.
Oh, extortion. Got it.
Yeah, it's basically like, you're there threatening them at that point, and you're probably high, and you're just looking for munchies or whatever. So, yeah, kids don't do that really until they hit college. AJ, your oldest is what, like 7?
She's about to be 7. Yeah.
Your boys will go through this. There is a progression where when you're young, boys always want to be something heroic. So it's like a soldier, it's a fireman, it's Superman, it's Batman or whatever. They transition into scary stuff. And the gateway drug on that, the costume that transitions into scary is a ninja. I promise you. Your boys, because that's still semi-heroic, but then it's a little bit menacing. And then they're going to get the Freddy Krueger mask or whatever.
That's
all right, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, the problem that you wear the mask and you take it off like 3 minutes in, because when you're young, you sprint house to house for 2.5 straight hours with your pillowcase just full of candy. So the mask just goes by the wayside after a while.
Oh, Christ, it's like 2-a-days. I know. They and it gets really cold up here, but kids will still be like a sweaty mess because they're just sprinting from house to house. And God forbid, we did this one year. We went to the nice neighborhood where they're all like, 2-acre lots or whatever.
Oh,
and
yeah, the
houses are
king
like
size. King sizes. You go there for the king sizes, Jerry. Yeah. That's a good hustle. It's a good move.
Same friggin' candy as the little 1/4-acre lots. The next year we said, let's just smarten up. Let's just go to the little ranch houses. They're all close together. We'll bang this thing out, and then we'll just go back to whoever's the designated host, and we'll pound beers and worry about the kids' candy or whatever.
That's an interesting thing, though, is like so you're saying that the amount of houses weighed in for more chocolate than the king size houses because they were separated from each other?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, yeah. The McMansions aren't handing you $50 bills. It's the same goddamn candy you get in the middle class houses.
I feel like there was a neighborhood in our that we went to that they gave out king sizes. Rockland Manor, I'll never forget it. Everybody handed out king. They were all competing with each other, and it was like a large neighborhood, and they all handed out the biggest candy in town. Everybody.
Well, there's always, how fast that the word travels so fast, especially back when I was young. We weren't texting each other, but whenever you knew there was a house handing out king size,
yeah,
that stuff legit spread like Richard Gere and the Gerbil back in the day before the internet. I don't know how it gets around, but everybody knows. It's crazy.
And you know what, the phoniest marketing campaign in the world, and this is going to sound like a lame Seinfeld bit or something, but the fun size. Nowhere in the world is anything more fun size if it's smaller.
How about the fucking ketchup packets? Why are the ketchup packets fun sized? Why aren't ketchup like what? Whoever did, I love Heinz, right? 57 varieties. I love ketchup. But that fucking size that they chose to go with the packets was the most obnoxious choice in the history of maybe business decisions. It's out fucking outrageous.
Right. And the candy companies followed suit. And there's no kid who has ever gotten a Milky Way that was the size of his thumb and said, oh my gosh, this is so much more fun than if it was king size. Like, I walked all the way to this house and I got one of these. Thanks. You're having fun, Nestle's or whoever you are, but I am not.
Full spin zone there with the name of it. It's fun size. Full spin zone. Let's spin this into a fun thing.
That's right. Hey, Jerry, let's spin this into the football stuff. But if you're talking about football, you know what you're doing, Jerry? You're using my bookie.
Oh, wow.
You hear it. You hear me, Pat.
Yeah.
If you're watching games, we all know it's time to start making some money, unlike Pat. MyBookie is the industry-leading website that hooks you up with all your betting needs. And with their great odds, fast payouts, and decades of expertise, you can bet with confidence. Your team does not even have to win. They just need to cover the spread. What are you waiting for? Lay down some cash and win big today. Or if you know your team sucks, do yourself a favor and bet against them. If they lose, you'll make money. And if they win, you will still be one happy camper like Jerry on trick-or-treat night with all of his buddies pounding. What do you drink? Keystone, Jerry? What beers you drinking?
Oh.
You know what? I am so into craft beers now. Not a snob.
Oh, no. You mail it back and forth with your buddies?
I'm going out for I'm going to fire back a bunch of Bud Lights, but like if I'm watching NFL football, okay, I'm going to hit the local store that has the local brews. Castle Island is a favorite. Your Vermonts, your IPAs, those things are phenomenal.
Okay,
So,
I respectfully disagree, but where you bet is just as important as who you're betting on. That's why I'm urging you to make your way to MyBookie. I trust them, but you don't have to take my word for it. Check them out yourself. You've been sitting there on the sidelines all season, haven't manned up yet. Well, guess what? Now is the time to get on the action because due to popular demand, MyBookie's 100% bonus will be available for only one more week. That's right. After Sunday, you can kiss it goodbye. So get it before it's too late. They have in-game live betting and a mobile site that makes wagering on the go easier than ever. You can also check out their online casino if you'd rather just play a few hands of blackjack and roll the dice and craps. So join now, and MyBookie will match your deposit with up to a 100% bonus for that. This is the last time this year. Use promo code LACES to activate the offer. Visit mybookie.ag today. You play, you win.
You get paid.
all right, fellas. One last point about Halloween before we get awards this week.
Yeah, let's dig in.
Don't half-ass it. Don't ever half-ass it. It is a great holiday if you're all in. But if you're that guy who doesn't have anything to go as, you say, F it, I'm just going to throw on a rubber mask or whatever, just stay home. the Barstool parties back in the day were the greatest parties ever thrown. It was outstanding female to male ratio, women tarting it up, Lara Crofts everywhere, and sexy nurse, sexy cop. I compliment the Patriots today. Their cheerleaders did it up right, just cosplaying all over the place, pink Power Rangers and Jasmines and Disney princesses.
Jerry.
It was
Jerry, you're having a moment right there. I want to let you know. You were really having a moment right there.
I knew you guys back in the day when we'd find a bar in Boston and have these blowout parties, and nobody didn't dress. If you did, you would have felt like an idiot even walking through the door. So enjoy. You AJ, your kids are going to be in college someday. You'll know exactly.
I'm throwing a costume party here at the or a costume contest on Tuesday for a little bit of cash. You throw up a little bit of money around here, things get done. So I'm having a costume. You know how rookies had a costume contest every year? Did you have that, AJ? Rookies had a costume contest every year? You didn't have that?
Absolutely. No, not at all.
Oh, for like money. There was like money up.
Wait, when they show up, you mean for like the team Halloween party or like to the facility?
To the facility. We didn't have a team Halloween party. The facility.
No.
Oh.
So it was like a hazing thing.
Yeah, apparently. I got in it, though. No, I hosted it. But there were some vets that got in on it, too, because there was a cash prize that went up. And there were some vets that got involved. Like, not vets, but like 3 years. Guys that just got off a couple practice squads. They were
what day of the week would they do this, though?
We would do it. Well, normally, it would only happen after a win on Monday.
Okay, I was going to say, like, you're not going to be doing that on Wednesday or Thursday,
No.
like your big, long
No, it was
days.
a fucking Monday. Yeah, Wednesday and Thursday are fucking nightmare days for people who don't have anything to do, like myself. Dude, you're just sitting in an office from 7:30 to fucking 5 o'clock, standard thing, like just wanting to punch yourself in the face. Like just sitting there like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? I can't tweet anything that's awesome. I'll get fined for it. I can't watch any film because paralysis by analysis if I watched a couple more hours of this. So I'm literally just sitting here all fucking day. Okay, I'm going to stretch, I guess. Well, that hurts. I don't want to do that shit anymore. And it's not helping me. Fuck it. I'm not going to stretch anymore. Oh, there's cornhole boards right there. Okay. I'm going to play cornhole for like 4 to 5 hours a day for 2 to 3 years and become the greatest cornhole player on earth on Wednesdays and Thursdays. That's what I did. It was just fucking long ass days. But on Monday, those little Halloween contests, those were a good time, man. I enjoyed that. We had some great fucking costumes.
Pat, you mentioned watching film. What kind of film could you watch? Like you see how they're going to try to block punts?
Well, the first couple of years, I didn't know how to punt. So I was watching fucking like Shane Leckler's film to figure out how to punt, like learn how to punt. That's a true story. Because Bill Polian drafted me. I wasn't a traditional punter. I was a rugby punter. So I had to learn how to do the 2-step punt thing. I had no.
You mean like what they do now in college? That's what you were able to do? That's what you did?
Yeah, I did that in college. But I used to be able to hit it on the run, though. Like, I'd be able to turn it over on the run. So instead of getting it just to roll, I would be able to run and then get it to turn over. So it was like a best of both worlds situation.
Hey, that made me think of that. We always talk about how the college game, quarterbacks, they're running this weird spread, bubble screens all day long. They're not like prototypical pocket passers. Is it tougher to find punters for the league now? Because every single college team runs like that rugby garbage where you put 3 guys in front of them and it's not like the traditional punt.
Yeah, I got very lucky that Bill Polian saw me punting in warm-ups, like just with my friends before the Meineke Car Care Bowl. I was just kicking balls like with my friends standard punting, like just 2-step punting like you see in the NFL punt. And he drafted me saying he thought I was athletic enough to figure it out. That's what he said. He was the only person that worked me out as a punter. The only person. Nobody else worked me out as a punter. Everybody else worked me out as a kicker.
What a progressive thinker. What a smart guy.
What a fucking idiot if it didn't work. Let's talk about that. I mean, I was a pretty heavy partier back in the day. I mean, hey, Jesus Christ. There was a very good chance that was not going to work out. But I would watch film on Shane Leckler, Cyphers, that same shit, and I would just try to learn how to punt. And then I also watched a lot of their rush because I enjoyed drawing up fakes. So I enjoyed fakes. I wanted to be a part of a lot of fakes. So I watched film on their rush a lot. And then I would watch returners too. So I'd watch a lot of film on returners to see how they catch the ball, right? So if we got a read on one returner that if it was a 5-0 ball, he would either fair catch it automatically or he would drop it. So we hit a 5-0 ball to him early, and he fumbled it, muffed it early. We got the ball. It was like a fucking just worked out perfect. Like, I was like, yeah, that's what you watch film for. And that only happened like once or twice, but it was like those little things you can watch as a punter. There's like, you have so much time to watch shit, you feel like you try to overturn every fucking stone. You're like, what am I going to do with my fucking time? I have no idea. I'm going to watch this, I guess. I'm just going to now I'm going to waste another hour and a half of my life playing cornhole, I guess. And then I'm going to watch more film. That's what you do. You watch every fucking play, right? Is that what you guys do? You watch every single play you do, and then you watch every single play from the other team?
Yeah, we usually watch like the past 4 games. So you come in and they do like in chunks where they'll take the last 3 or 4 games and break them down.
That is so much film. How do you sit there that long? Like, how do you? I wouldn't be able to do it. I don't know how the.
It's rough, man. I wrote a lot of I take a lot of notes, but after a while, you're right. After Wednesday and Thursday are like your big install days where you're putting in the game plan. You do that. You practice. You come back after practice. You lift. You watch the film of that. But then, like, come Thursday afternoon, Friday morning, when you have those long Friday meetings, that's when it gets like overkill, and you're just, whew, it's a struggle, man. It's a battle sitting in those meeting rooms at times when you know, like, we're just trying to, like. Sometimes you watch so much film that you forget like the basics. I would get to that point every once in a while, and the good coaches can always see that, and they would try to mix it up and show different things.
Now listen, I want everybody that's listening to know this. This is not me and AJ saying our lives were harder than yours. This is 1,000% us saying that we get paid to play on Sunday, and I believe practice is very, very vital. But the hours and hours and hours of forced sitting there, I don't think if you can do it and you don't need to do it, don't do it. Like, if you need it, do it. You're a showman. You are an entertainer. You are getting paid to fill stadiums and to put on a good show. And if you can't perform your job, you better start studying more. But if you can do it without it, let's fucking go. I just was so confused, and I didn't have enough balls ever to be like, hey, man, can I just come to practice? Like, I'll be here every practice. I promise I'll be on time. I'll be early. I'll go to every lift. But man, it's just, what the fuck are we doing here? I'm literally sitting here for 7 hours a day with nothing to do. So like, can we just figure this out?
Well, you know what Junior Seau used to say is that he plays on Sunday for free. He gets paid to practice.
That's exactly what it is. You get paid just to sit there. You get paid to sit for me. Now, that's not AJ. They actually have shit to watch, but goddamn, once you're punting in the league for like 3 years, you've seen basically every rush they could have. So now you're just sitting there twiddling your goddamn dick trying to figure out life. Jerry.
Hey, now this fascinates me. How much did you get out of film? Like, do you pick up on tendencies? Do you notice that a guy does this with his foot? It probably means he's going to pull, like that kind of thing.
That's a great question.
Is it situational stuff like, okay, on third down, this is what they tend to do, and I can use that? Or is it really just coaches saying, find this minutia because I'm so smart that I will find it or whatever?
No, I mean, I was lucky to have good coaches where they break it down for you. So they'll come in, like, say, Wednesday, your first morning meeting when you're installing what your plan is going to be. You go, like, first down, second down, usually on Wednesday, maybe dabble in third, and then Thursday is usually a lot of third down stuff. But they'll break it down in packages and be like, hey, first and P and 10, we call it like the first play of a drive. You come out, this is the route combinations, these are the runs they do, and then they break it down from there. Like second and short, here's like the route combinations they've shown that we're likely to get, like 3 or 4 different personnel groupings and formations, and how they try to window dress, they call it, like get motion shift to it, but a lot of times they try to get to the same look, but they just use that window dressing to try to get you thinking and playing slow. So those meetings are like, a lot of them are useful. Like, you really do need to know, and then you take it to the field and you practice it, and then you try to figure everything out. But it's honestly a lot of times like those little tips, like you said, like, oh, if this guy's his foot is back, like a guard, he sits back in his stance, he's pulling, they're going to run power, or things like that. Every once in a while, you'll get a couple good like tips.
Yeah, Tony Romo's got them all. Tony Romo's just sitting there watching every fucking team. Oh, here comes a fucking run to the right. I can sit right guards, right. Like, yep. Bet you $5.
Yeah, you get a couple of them. Like, you can get a couple of them a game. Like, if a quarterback, we had one at one point, I know, where the quarterback would be in the gun. If his feet were square, or like if they were like hip, how you stand with your feet, if they're basically even with each other, it was usually a pass. But if one foot was cocked back, then other way around. One foot was back a little bit, it was pass, and it was almost like 100% on film. And we went into the game, and it came true.
Oh, let me tell you a little story about these statistics. Troy Polamalu, okay? fucking Troy Polamalu. So we had a fake for the Pittsburgh Steelers that was a 100%er. We didn't even practice a call off. We didn't even practice like a cancel it out. We didn't a blackout or whatever it is. I don't know what the fuck you guys call it. Omaha, whatever the fuck they call it. I don't know. We didn't even have a cancel the goddamn play because it was a 100%er. If we ever end up in this situation inside the 7-yard line on the left hash, it is a 100%er that the C gap will be wide open and we will just part the C to the left. It'll be a touchdown. 100%er. We're playing in Pittsburgh, the city I grew up in. I grew up in Pittsburgh. I won the punt, pass, and kick national championship, AJ. National championship, AJ.
Congrats.
AJ, did you ever win the national championship, punt, pass, and kick?
I think I got 3rd or 4th out of 4 at the Nationals.
I'm proud of you, man. Anyways, so we're there in that stadium, okay? A lot of McAfee's in there. A lot of McAfee's in Pittsburgh. I'm going to score my first fucking touchdown, night game, Sunday Night Football, I believe it was, right here, touchdown. We get into that situation, and I'm like, holy fuck, this is really going to happen. We're like on the 6, on the left hash. It's 4th and goal now. Field goal team's jogging on. I'm like, well, fuck, it's about to, I'm ready. I am ready for this to happen. So I get out there. I get down. Vinny's like happy for me. Vinny's like very excited. He's like, let's fucking go. Like Vinny's excited for me at this moment. I'm like, here we go. So I make the call. I forget what it was. It might have been like, I forget. I don't remember. I couldn't even guess what it was. So I start saying it, right? And everybody's looking at me like, okay, bright eyes. Here we go. Let's get after it. Offensive linemen are dead ass tired. They do not want to be in the middle of a field goal anyways. So they're just like, all right, I don't give a fuck if you die here, but this should work. Let's get some points. And all of a sudden, I go through my cadence, I call it, I get down, and Troy Polamalu's fucking ass goes ahead for however long his career was at this point. I think it was like 9 years or 8 years at this point. Not a once has he ever gone to this side of the field over here to the left and stood right in the C gap. Never. He lined up exactly where he had lined in film 100% of the time. And then as soon as I got to like the second cadence right before set, he just bounced his little ass right over to the C gap. And I like stopped everything I was doing and I literally just looked at him. And I gave him like a, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, why are you there right now? And then I stood up and said, we are kicking it. We have to kick it. We are kicking this. And then I get down, and Vinatieri kicks it, and I jog off the field, and Chuck Pagano comes running up next to me. He's like, hey, good job. What you see? I said, what did I see? Polamalu just fucking went right into the goddamn C gap. What did I see? What did I see? And he goes, okay, sounds good. Good call then. And good call then. And then Vinatieri's like, hey, way to go, buddy. I'm like, way to go? Are we not going to talk about how big of a fucking asshole Troy Polamalu is for what just happened right there? So that's.
I saw the angel of death waiting for me in the C gap.
It's unbelievable. What, you thought I was going to run him over? No way. He's probably going to strip me and score a touchdown the other fucking. That's Polamalu, bro. That ain't just your backyard football with your son. These are professional fucking athletes. He'd probably jump over the lineman, pick me up, and run me into the other fucking end zone if he wanted to. That's what he would have done.
The hard-hitting safety of his generation, too. I mean, Ed Reed, great cover safety. I don't know that you would have feared him, but
Ed Reed, I would have feared Ed Reed. Yeah, if I saw Ed Reed in that C gap, absolutely. E.D. Reed, boy, the best safety you ever seen, boy. I ain't doing shit to Ed Reed.
No, Ed Reed would have made the tackle. I'm saying that Polamalu would have shaved years off your life.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Pat, hey, Pat, were you in on that play, the worst fake ever?
No,
against
man.
the Patriots?
Nope.
What was that?
No, AJ. It was a play that was not designed to be snapped. That's what happened, AJ.
And who snapped it?
Well, his name, and he will go down as the worst center in football history. He will go down as one play, one disaster. Was Griff Whalen, but Griff Whalen did not practice at at gunner the entire week. Okay, it was another gunner that didn't get activated. So the play was we were gonna if it was a situation where we could take a delay of game, it wasn't a big deal. Field position wasn't a big deal. We were gonna try to fake a substitute, steal a yard because I think it was or steal a couple yards real quick. If there was a chance, if the Patriots, who were coached by the best coach in the history of sports, was to not have them prepared and they were to spread, we were going to steal a couple yards, take a delay of game, either or. or take a delay game, and we'll just back it up 5. No big deal. Didn't work. Cool. We're out. So Griff Whalen's a Stanford guy who was literally our guy we went to for everything. He was like the onside kick guy. I would kick it to him. He's the guy I kicked to on the onside. Like, he was just our go-to guy. He was Luck's roommate in college. He's just a genius. Griff Whalen is like a super smart guy. So our guy couldn't go, so the replacement for the gunner was Griff Whalen. Griff Whalen reads the playbook exactly word for what that play was. So that play is actually in the playbook, right? It was for that week, like the actual play. Griff reads it, studies it, sounds good. So there was an adjustment made somewhere by some people, I don't know who said it, that said try to draw them off sides if they line up over the center because we're trying to take a delay game. It doesn't matter. In the book, though, it says if there is a cadence at all, you're snapping it. Don't look up, just snap it. So there was a communication error between somebody who talked to Colt Anderson, who was the quarterback, and the playbook, which is the only thing Griff Whalen read. So then now he won under center. He called it. He has to snap it in the playbook, but in his mind, he was like, "I'm just going to try to draw him off sides. Don't snap." It was just a one gigantic communication clusterfuck that resulted in one of the worst gifts in history. In the history of football, one of the worst gifts. And I just so happen to be right out of the picture. So you can't even see me, but my name is right across the goddamn bottom. It says Pat McAfee into punt with my average on it. And it was a pretty good average, so I wasn't that mad about it. But it's the whole play is just directly right above my name, and it's an interesting situation to be in.
The punchline of that was one of the all-time great referee calls, too. It was offsides
on everybody.
The entire side of the formation.
Dude, they showed my face afterwards. They showed my face on national TV, and I am not good at like lying. My face tells the story. You know exactly how I'm feeling at the exact moment I'm feeling it. My face does not relax. Like, it has no chill. I was talking to Bill Nye last week, and I was losing my shit. I had no idea what he was saying. He was speaking over my head. So they went right to my face, and you literally see me, like, it's a full-on, like, what the fuck just happened? Like, I'm going to be associated with that forever. Like, that's something it just didn't work out, though. A lot of plays don't work out. Let's not act like they don't, guys, okay? That could have very easily been a dive play that lost 4 yards. We'll just act like that's what happened. But, boy, it went down in an ugly manner.
Okay, and this is going to transition us into this weekend's games because, Pat, that will never go down as the most ridiculous play of the Belichick era. The butt fumble has the metal stand locked up forever. Nothing will ever outdo that. The funt, as I like to call your fake punt, I've always called it the funt, is number...
Who was it fun for, Jerry? Who was it fun for? Who was it fun size for?
I slowly raised my hand.
Hilarious.
I've never gotten over it. And today, the Patriots had maybe the bronze medal winner on that, the most ridiculous play next to those two that I've seen that they've been on the business end of. When, I don't know if you watched the game, but punt comes to Travis Benjamin. Okay, he muffs it. Fine. That happens. He picked it up with his back to the coverage team, ran 11 yards into the end zone, trying to loop around maybe the best coverage unit in the NFL. He's met at the goal line by 3 Patriots and takes the safety. I can't stress enough, it was 11 yards that he ran backwards rather than just follow the ball, kick it out of bounds.
Now, hold on. Let's not act like Travis Benjamin isn't an incredible returner, right? Who he could do that against a lot of teams, and that would be magic. Devin Hester got famous for making those same 11-yard, 15-yard, even like sometimes 20-yard retreats and then getting the edge and getting off. But that play, when Slater's covering a kick, he might be the greatest coverage player in the history of the NFL, by the way. Slater, 18. Anytime he's on the field, Ryan Allen is punting to him. He's just, he's the guy. He is the absolute guy. I got in the Pro Bowl. I didn't get to be on his team. He was on the other team. I just wanted to talk to him. Like, man, you were so good. Like, I would, if you were on my team, I would be very happy. I hope they treat you very nice up there. I would buy you whatever you wanted if you wanted to come work. He is a monster cover, like monster. So you got him running down. It's just a lack of awareness there. You run into the end zone, give up 2. But in my eyes, that's Ryan Allen putting 2 points on a scoreboard. That's for the brand. That's great for the brand. Scoring? Are you kidding me? He's scoring now? We got punters scoring, AJ? You guys are watching all that goddamn film. We're playing cornhole, and now we're scoring fucking points. Let's go. I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
And there was a slew of special teams plays that changed games today.
Oh.
I'm guessing that at least one of them is getting a game ball from you, Pat.
You know what? There was just so many awesome things. Colton Schmidt had a perfect punt today. A perfect coffin corner punt, like from the 70s and 80s, back in the day, coffin corner, 90s, old school football. Put it out the one. Perfect punt. And then his defense gets a pick six on the next drive. Now, granted, they got out of the field position. They got out backed up. They weren't up to the 30. So it wasn't a bang-bang situation. But goddamn, that's what you're hoping for. You hope you pin a team deep, and then bang, the defense makes an opportunity. Like Darius Butler had a pick six in a game where we downed somebody at the one. It was fucking awesome. Like, it was like really cool. Like, it was like a cool thing. I felt like, hey, man, I actually did my job there. Like, that feels like I actually had a part of that. That feels good. And that happened. That's awesome for me. Colton Schmidt had a perfect punt. It's beautiful. You can't beat that.
Can you text him and find out if he listened to me complaining about the lack of coffin corner kicks last week on the show?
He's a stoolie. He's a stoolie.
Good. Maybe I deserve the credit for that then, because I asked the question. And then you said you get asked it 50 times a day, and I kind of lost my shine there because I thought it was a brilliant question. But
well, right. I mean, everybody that asks it thinks it's a brilliant question, but I'm happy he fucking brought that back. I'm happy he did that because that was a beautiful thing. Absolutely beautiful. The weather was so shit across the board today. Weather was so bad, AJ. So bad.
All these East Coast games, guys couldn't hold on to balls. His balls falling out of quarterbacks' hands when they're getting tapped. It was a mess. You didn't mention Hauschka. Strips Cordarrelle Patterson.
That was directly after that. There was a chain of events right there. Punt out of bounds, pick six, extra point, kickoff, kicker strips. I mean, it was like a Bills Mafia for the brand run. Boom, 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 boom. It was incredible. Strip with the left hand. Cordarrelle Patterson, incredible returner with the Vikings. Then he recovered it himself, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But it was awesome to watch. Old Quattro Hauschka, bless you. It was incredible. You're right.
You got any participation shade you want to throw at somebody?
No, I don't. You know, I was trying to think about that here in the last 10 seconds because I forgot that we did that. And I was trying to think of somebody that I didn't like. And I just can't figure it out right now. I don't know who.
It's not on the test. That's all right.
It has to be the weather. So I'm pissed off at the weather. Like, it was everywhere. It ruined every fucking game. But I bet the over on a couple games because I didn't check the goddamn weather. And it just didn't work out. I mean, this betting thing's really getting... I'm getting my dick kicked in. And it's very obvious whenever you're using the greatest app in gambling, though. At least you know. Like today I had a couple heartbreakers. Green dot turns red dot. What's that mean, AJ? Green dot turns a red dot on my favorite.
Can't be good.
No. The Sports Action app is the best app in the world for sports bettors, and it's not even close. Seriously, download it right now if you haven't already. You can track your bets in real time, get live odds for dozens of books, including halftime lines, plus the in-game live lines. Sports Action is free to download on iOS and Android, and I promise it'll be your new favorite app if you bet on sports. Get a 1-week free trial of the Pro subscription, which has a ton of features like parlay tracking, hedge opportunities, and more. Just click the link below. Download Sports Action right now. It's incredible. This app, I bet on a lot of stuff. I'm enjoying it a lot, by the way, AJ. This is probably one of the best parts of retirement. Aside from like no drug tests. Like the fact that I can just do whatever the fuck I want and eat whatever gummies I want, wherever, what side I buy them from. That's good news for me. But like this sports betting shit, I'm really enjoying it. And I don't bet large anymore. I used to bet big. Now I just bet small, and it's so much fun. I very much enjoy it. I feel like I'm getting a lot more right than wrong. But boy, today, those fucking over bets did not help me out much. In Sports Action, to its benefit. When I was on a very hot run, they were covering me strong. You know, everything was green, 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 green. Today, a couple red lights popped up. I was in a bad spot. But I'll bounce back. Yesterday, I took an L, but tonight I'll bounce back. That's all that matters.
There's always Monday night. It's why Monday Night Football is an American institution. It's for guys in your boat right now. That
Kansas City is going to cover. By the way, they're -7 at home. Bounce back game for Alex Smith and Andy Reid for sure. -7. Kansas City covers.
AJ,
what's that, AJ? You think that?
No, I don't know, man. The Broncos, I'm not really sure who they are, what they are, but the one thing that would make me scared of them covering 7 would be Von Miller. And that, it doesn't matter. Von Miller can take over a game.
And it's a fucking primetime game. I forgot all about that. Everything I just said was a lie. It's a primetime game. Dwight Freeney told me this one time. And I don't even know if he was talking directly to me or if I just overheard him say it. It was before a Monday Night Football game, and he was talking to like a younger guy, and he said, if you want to be a superstar, you make plays on Monday night and when the lights are on. And then just walked by him. And I was like, oh, so that means Dwight Freeney is probably going to tear it up. And if you look at any like Showtime game or like lights on game, Dwight Freeney takes over. He did it last year for the fucking Falcons. If it's a show game, he's on Team Jordan. He's won a Super Bowl, and he makes plays at big time. Von Miller's that same fucking guy. I forgot all about that. Dancing with the Stars? Are you kidding me? He's going to crush it on Monday Night Football.
Hey, Dwight signed with the Seahawks.
I know. When's he up? Next week? Or did he play this week?
I don't know if he played. Jerry, do you know? Did he play?
No, I didn't hear his name called. I don't know if they dressed him. And I watched a good chunk of that game, but I was flipping back and forth. Can he do that? Can he just flip the switch?
Yes.
Halfway? Like, there's a reason they have training camps, and there's a reason they have preseason games.
Dwight doesn't have training camps. He hasn't been to camp in a couple of years. He wasn't with. So I was in my short time in Atlanta. I talked to Dwight a little bit. He was awesome. Talk about a pro. That dude. He practiced on, I think Thursday was like our third down day there, and Wednesday he was. I mean, he's been around so long. He wouldn't dress on Wednesday, but he'd sit there and watch and be involved and talk to all the guys. And then he had like his whole third down package that he would work on all day Thursday, talk to the guys in the film room. Like, he has an absolute plan. He is down to a science of what he's going to do, and that dude is still really, really good.
He is so good it was outrageous to watch him work day in and day out at the Colts, because he would be down one day, just like you said, and then the day he was up, it was a clinic. It was a fucking clinic, and then he was down, and then game day comes, and it was just like, yep, there it is. That's the guy. Boom, 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 it's over. And then when the new GM came in, they didn't play him. They just didn't play. We were paying him $17 million. He was guaranteed to make $17 million that year. And they didn't cut him. They didn't cut him before the $17 million bonus kicked in or whatever. They kept him around, and they just sat him. He just didn't even play. Dwight Freeney is one of the nicest superstars I've ever met in my life. He sent a limo to pick me up whenever I was a rookie because his limo couldn't get to me or something like that to get to an event. Like, he's like just such an incredible fucking guy. Now, the night I was arrested, like, hey, that would have been cool. But my phone was broke, so I couldn't let him know. But he's just a good guy. And the year he got paid $17 million and wasn't playing, like, I was so befuddled. And I think everybody was like, why aren't we playing that guy, right? Like, I feel like that's a guy we should think about playing. And then he bounced back, and he's just a hell of a player, man. Hell of a fucking player.
So you guys have pulled the wool back from my eyes here a little bit, because I feel like, actually, pull the veil back from my eyes, a mix of metaphors, because I feel like this time of year, every year, big players, big names start to get hurt. So everybody immediately goes back to who retired in the last couple of years, and let's talk about getting that guy back. You know what I mean? Like, if a receiver goes down, there are people who still bring up names like Randy Moss and Terrell Owens. Like, are you insane to think you away from the and then come back?
No, the specialty guys can do it, but to be fair, I think Terrell Owens is the guy bringing up Terrell Owens' name. I don't think a lot of teams are doing that.
I believe you're correct with that, but anytime he steps up and says it, then he gets a group behind him that's like, yeah, we're on Team TO, because he looks so good all the fuck. I watched him play beer league softball when I was out in L.A., and he jumped over a third baseman. I watched him jump over a pudgy white guy at third base in beer league softball. He jumped over him and landed on the base. It was incredible. It was one of the most athletic things I've ever seen. But I'm not sure. That was years ago. I don't know if he could do it now. I don't know if he's jumping over white dudes now. I have no idea.
It's an absolute staple of sports talk radio to pick some retired superstar and say, we could get him. Calvin Johnson. I guarantee you in the next couple of weeks, like, all right, Chris Hogan got hurt today.
What?
Yeah, Chris Hogan took a helmet from the guy as a Pullman. Anyway, took a helmet to the bicep and knocked the guy out. Like, not out cold, but I mean, it took forever for the guy to get up. I'm like, what is it with Chris Hogan's mighty biceps? But he's on my he had his arm in a. He never took another play. I don't know if it's his shoulder. I worry. What's that bone in your upper arm?
Collarbone.
You know, it looked like a shoulder. It looked like a shoulder injury to me.
I mean, the bye's coming at a good time.
Hey, Jerry,
I'm going to say maybe they could get Calvin Johnson to unretire. Like, why don't we just think
Should
about
think
guys
about
who
it.
maybe a
Real
Well,
quick.
Calvin can still play. Calvin
Yeah.
seems like a great idea. Like he quit. He retired early.
Yeah, which means he belongs to the Lions until his contract
Just
is
like
up. You know what-
Marshawn was with Seattle, though. That's an easy as the old team doesn't want to deal with the drama. They're just like, cool, whatever. Do whatever you got to do. We've moved on. You've moved on. Let's go. Like the old team doesn't want to deal with that drama.
Wasn't it, Jerry? Isn't it just now? Was it Anquan Bolden? He was the Bills. He kind of left after camp or early in the year, and they just granted him he can explore a trade now because he said he wants to play.
They put super limiting restrictions on that too. They said he can't be taking contract offers or anything like that. It's only with their approval. I mean, they.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they own him, but they.
I mean, it's going to be tough. Yeah, they're going to make it tough on him. They're going to want a lot for him because he does want to come back and
Did
play.
that
but the
really?
Bills
That's
are
really
good.
happening right now?
Yeah.
The Bills don't
Well-
need him. Why would they want to deal with that bullshit? Like just
Well, no,
let-
they don't. That's why they said you can explore a trade. This is great. You left. We weren't counting on you. Maybe we can get something for you if a team really needs a guy like you.
True. I mean, what if happens if nobody wants to trade though? Will they let him go?
I don't think.
It's got to meet their standards, and they're saying he can't take just any offer that's out there. I forget what the specifics were, but you read it and you just
Really?
say, going anywhere. Like he's gonna be on their depth chart in case bad things happen to their wideouts or whatever. And
But if he doesn't want to play for the Bills, he doesn't want to play for the Bills. Like that's an interesting. Like in my head right now, I'm trying to act as if I was Anquan Bolden. If I just left, that means like I'm retiring. Was that this year? When did he do that? This year?
Yeah, earlier this year, but that's the thing. That was when they were 0-0. Now this segues beautifully into my trophy, Jerry, which goes to the Buffalo Bills.
Nice.
5-2, beat the Raiders today, which the Raiders are 3-5. I don't know what's going on
That
with
was my
them.
pick. That was my
Marshawn was
pick.
out, but Buffalo Bills 5-2. Who would have thought that? Now maybe Anquan's thinking, hey, this team's a lot better than I thought. So the Bills are definitely my surprise / trophy / safety for them. Micah Hyde, 5 picks on the year already. I played with him in Green Bay. Awesome dude, great player, absolute stud for Buffalo right now. He's got 5 interceptions. Had another one today. They look legit. I mean, I don't know. It's tough when you're in the same division as the Patriots, obviously, but the Bills are much better than I thought. Remember this offseason, all the crazy weird stuff they had going on with their GM and the owner and new coach? Like no one was on the same page.
they hired the GM the day after the draft.
Yeah, like, it was so. It's unbelievable.
What a
Like,
move! What
Yeah.
a move! What an aggressive decision. He's ballless. He doesn't have any balls. See if this works out
Remember-
for him.
They fired Rex Ryan. They sent the GM out, like tossed him to the wolves to explain why they let Rex Ryan go. The problem with that was he didn't know. He wasn't part of the decision, and so he's just sitting there like it would be like having me do it. Like I don't know. I wasn't part of that meeting. I don't. And then they fire him after he selects the players for the future, and they were being asked questions about, are you tanking? Like,
Oh yeah,
general-
yeah, because them and the Jets, 2 teams in the same AFC East were both supposed to be tanking. I remember that, and now the fucking Bills are balling out of nowhere.
Right. And you know that nobody in the world loves the Bills Mafia the way Barstool does, and I share that love. So I don't want to blow up their spot other than to just throw this out there. The last time the Bills were 5-2 was 2011. They finished at 6-10.
Yikes! Don't put that on them. They don't deserve that. Like their people don't deserve that right there. Why would you drop that on them like that?
Because I want our relationship to be based on trust.
Wow.
You know? And just,
Wow.
to just lay it out there, reality check, guys. You know, you're still the Bills. Although LaShawn McCoy, big game today. I mean, the defense, I think they turned it over 4 times again. Like they're a goddamn turnover machine. And I'm a Tyrod Taylor guy. I think he's an above average quarterback. I just don't know if I'm seeing them keeping it up.
What was that face,
Hey.
AJ?
Oh no, Pat, I wanted to ask you. So, a guy who came in the same class as me, DeQuell Jackson, I think, went on NFL Network, and he said, "You're not going to see Andrew Luck in Indy ever again."
DeQuell Jackson said that?
Yeah, I don't want to misquote him, but he said something like, "A lot of times when you see a guy that's out 8, 9, 10 weeks, like it's like a career threatening thing," which is crazy to say. But he said, "You're not going to see him again." I guess he may allegedly. He said they're a chance you're not going to see him again.
DeQuell Jackson, like my teammate DeQuell Jackson, the guy I went to Japan with. I went to Japan with DeQuell Jackson.
Jerry, you saw this, right?
I'm tight with DeQuell Jackson. He said Luck's not, who's his source? I want to know who's. I want to text him.
You don't have to have a source. What do you mean? It's the media.
I mean, he's not with the team anymore, so it's not like he's.
Yeah, but you're not just going to throw that shit out there if you're not right. Like,
I'm sure they asked him, and he gave his opinion. He's allowed to have an opinion.
I mean, you love Brissett, right? I mean, are you?
I love Brissett. I'm a big Jacoby Brissett fan. I like the way he leads. I like the way he plays. Every time he talks, he seems to say things that I'm like, this guy could be the face of a program, I think. Like, I think he could be a quarterback. I think he really could be. Now, granted, it's all about how he grows into his next contract and all that shit. But I look at him, and I've said this numerous times, and people always say, well, he played before. He's basically a rookie quarterback that has zero experience in this system that he's being thrown into right now. He'll probably be in another one next year, whether he's still with the Colts or somewhere else. He's going to get a whole nother system next year. I'm excited to watch him. He's a player, man. I like him a lot.
I want to read DeQuell's quote just because I don't want to misquote him. So
Did
they
you
asked
just
him on the
pull
show,
that
I
up all
guess.
of a sudden? You got an assistant over there?
That's right, man. It's called the internet. Google it. Try it. So he was on that Good Morning Football show on NFL Network. They said they asked him when he thought we would see Luck make his return. He said, "I don't think we are. I don't think we are." Jackson said, "If you take a step back, if you look at most guys' injuries around the league, if they've been out 8, 9, 10 months, you're talking career-ending injuries. No one's mentioned that."
Wow. DeQuell Jackson doing a media circuit. That's the first thing I realized. DeQuell's getting on TV. I like that. Good for him. DQ, getting on TV, Quell. Number two, that's a wild. Because you get asked that question before you go on the show. So you get asked that question so he had time to think of that answer. Like he's prepared to.
Well, I'm sure they at least told him like, hey, yeah, obviously, we're going to hit on Andrew a little bit. We're going to hit on. They gave him kind of topics for sure. So he had a.
They gave him the exact question for sure.
No.
Yes.
What shows do you go on?
I was on NFL AM, which is the same show as Good Morning Football for like a week or two straight. It was my only time really on TV, and they were giving out the exact questions they were going to ask. And maybe that's why it transformed into Good Morning Football. But
that's
it was
weird because I did that show for like three straight days last offseason, I think.
Wow.
And
Did you?
we didn't have any. We're like, all right, we're going to have this guy on, and then we just kind of went around and asked questions.
Wow.
Hey, can you guys clarify that? Because I'm just want to make sure that you're supposed to prepare when you do a football show. What do we do? Like we come on.
No, I didn't think it was good, by the way, just for future reference. Because in my ear, they were telling me I had 13 seconds or something like that to finish my answer. I'm like, 13 seconds? I ain't never done this in my life. I could go for 14 minutes if you want me to. I don't know how to get this down in 13 seconds, so I'll just be like, I think it's going to be good. Diane, really good. Like, it's going to be so much fun. And then they're going to go to the next person. First day was awkward. Second day got better. Third day, they told me just go a minute. And I was like, I don't know what that is. Like, I don't have that clock in my head. It was very interesting. It was so, I didn't expect it. But I'm assuming DeQuell got asked that question before he went on. I'm betting DeQuell knew that question before he went on. And that was his answer. And that's interesting. I would like to see his research into people who've been out 10 months, 11 months, 9, 10 months, 11 months, and see their return rate. That'd be an interesting little research.
Well, especially if you're a quarterback that gets paid $150 million, it's a little different. This isn't like it's a guy making league minimum out 10 months.
So much money, by the way. Just so much money. Just not on the PUP the first 6 weeks, taking up a roster spot. Not on IR now, taking up a roster spot. So much money. So much money. So much money. And it sucks that he's hurt. I mean, you want him to get healthy. You just wonder what the fuck happened. Because that surgery, Drew Brees had the same surgery, right? And then his timetable is much different than what's going on now. And I look at Andrew on the news when he's on the local news, and he looks thin. And I'm not 100% sure. He just looks thin. I'm like, man, I don't know what's going on. So it's an interesting situation. And he was throwing. I guess he was throwing well a couple weeks ago, and then he had to get a cortisone shot. It's a wild situation. But I think Jacoby's a really good quarterback. Back to your question.
I'll tell you, I watched the Colts, and I look at that line, and I say, if I think Andrew Luck is the future of my franchise, I don't think I'm rushing him back out there. You got to be mobile behind that line, and Brissett is. I mean, he's not Michael Vick, but he'll avoid the rush sometimes. I think if you put Luck out there now behind that line, it's going to be like
he's more like Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, Jacoby's more like Ben Roethlisberger when he was younger.
Yeah, will take the hit and keep his eyes upfield and that kind
And
of
he
shit.
can move, and he can move. Ben Roethlisberger, people see him now. They see Uncle Ben. They see Uncle Ben now. They didn't get a chance to see younger Ben. Younger Ben was a little mobile. He was a bigger fellow who was always durable, but he was mobile. And then now they see Uncle Ben, who's contemplates retirement in the middle of the season, says he doesn't got it anymore, and then he comes out and throws for 7,000 yards the next week. It's an interesting human. I don't know what he's doing tonight. I have no clue. We're not a chance to watch the game, but every other week. He used to be mobile. Jacoby Brissett has a lot of that, and he's got a cannon. Jacoby Brissett has a cannon. Puts the ball where it needs to be.
All right. Did you give out a participation, AJ?
I did not, but if I had to give one, I would give it to the Tampa Bay Bucks. They're 2-5. Wasn't everyone picking them to be one of the better teams this year?
Yep.
And you know, I'm picking them obviously because they in the NFC South. They're in last place in the NFC South, which is crazy to think. But also, I saw something where, so Jameis, like afterwards, which it's great. Like talk to the media, you should. Don't walk off. I know Cam Newton's caught some heat for that, but he like apologized to the Bucks fans. I guess I just don't think that's needed.
What do you mean?
It's not needed. Why would you? You don't need to apologize to the fans.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
He like apologized to the fans, I guess, for how they're playing, that they're not winning more.
You didn't like that?
I don't know exactly what he said, but like it's just not needed. Cool, it's a cool gesture because it shows like you care about the team and you care about everything going on. That's why people love you. But I just don't think it's needed. Like why? Why does he doesn't owe an apology to the fans? He didn't get it swim in a canal allegedly and get a DUI, Pat. His team isn't winning football games.
Yeah, I was swimming. I wasn't fucking driving. I have Oakland Raiders. I was in the black hole. They were chanting DUI at me. I said, I didn't drive, you fucking idiots. And they said DUS. And I said, that don't make no fucking sense. Driving under swimming, you fucking idiots. And they stopped talking. But anyways, I think whenever you're a business, which they are a business, and he's getting paid a lot of money, I think an apology to your customers is a good thing. I think it's a good move. Although I did not like his like the rest of his answers about how he's going to come out and ball next week and shit like that. Like, I wish that wouldn't have happened. But I don't mind an apology here, like a little humility, if it's like a genuine one. I'm just learning this right now. But like, if it's like, hey, you guys spend a lot of money on season tickets and suites and sponsors and shit, like, you know, we're supposed to be better. Like,
I'm not saying he's not genuine. I think he is genuine. I really do.
But you just say it's not
he
deserved.
doesn't owe that to the fans. He doesn't owe them an apology.
Wow. AJ, you heard it here first. AJ doesn't care about the people. Did you hear that, Jerry?
The fans of Laces Out, I hope, right?
Yeah,
Like,
that's exactly what I said, Pat.
I heard it. I'm writing a blog. I'm writing a blog tomorrow.
Call Mr. Freudian on that one, Pat. Check in.
Pat, did you apologize after the funt play? Because if ever something
Dude, I
deserves
apologize to the Colts fans numerous times, man. I apologize to Colts fans a lot. Now, they were going through some shit, though. We were going through some shit out there. I had to apologize to them when I got arrested. I had to apologize to them whenever we were 0-10. I had to apologize to them whenever, I forget, there was something else that happened where I had to be like, yeah. Oh, it was the end of the year whenever we were supposed to be really good, and we ended up terrible. And not terrible, but not good. At the end of the year, whenever I'm cleaning up my locker, they come up, like one final thought they give. And I'm like, yeah, we're supposed to be in the playoffs right now. Like, you play all year for the playoffs. The playoffs is what it's all about. You get bonus money. It's a lot of fun. It's like live or die. Like, playoffs is what it's all about. And we just didn't get here. And we're not supposed to. Like, that's a letdown to our fans. That's sorry about that. You're supposed to have another week of celebration, another week of partying. You're supposed to be a part of these playoffs. If we make it to the Super Bowl, you're supposed to be there tearing down the city that we went in. This is an us thing, AJ. You selfish football player. I'm already writing the blog now. I'm already writing.
Let me tell you exactly what you're doing, Pat, because you're doing stand-up. This is what you're doing. You are the comedian that walks on stage, and the first thing you do is say, hey, guys, ladies and gents, can we just give a round of applause for the troops? God bless them. Come on, let's give a round of applause.
No, that's in the middle. That's in the middle whenever I tell my USO tour story when I went to Japan to see the troops in the military.
Yeah, you're pandering. You're pandering to the crowd.
No, I'm letting them know that I care about things that are truly important in this world, and I'm not so selfish that I don't believe that. So that's what that means, AJ. It's not a pandering. It's a real thing.
He's signaling his virtue. That's clearly what he's doing.
By the way, I don't fully understand that, I don't think. So I thought originally I understood what that meant, and then I heard people using it in sentences, and I'm like, oh, man, that's not that's not the definition I learned. Like, I don't know how that works. And
what's virtue signaling, Jerry? Please define this.
Okay. It's like going on Twitter and saying, hey, can somebody tell me what the best Houston flood fund to donate to?
Gotcha.
No, I feel like that's pandering. Isn't virtue signaling like portraying the best image of yourself without allowing any of your flaws to be showcased?
Yeah, I take it as you're drawing a circle around the good deeds that you do and how wonderful you are. Like, I don't want any credit for this. However, I'm going to make sure that everybody knows.
So virtue signaling is like it's like the guy that goes to the local food pantry, but he sends a text to the Channel 6 News to
meet
show
him.
up.
Now, I will say this, though. Can I say this? So I've been very lucky to be given a lot of money, and I've been able to donate to a lot of things. I was doing something in Indianapolis for a few years that nobody knew about, and I enjoyed it. It was like my little fun little thing that I did, and I enjoyed it. And the company that I was doing it through, like, they put me on blast, and then people tried to be like, Pat couldn't even do something that was like low key, like you try to make me almost feel bad. But the company said they flipped it into a fund because they raised more money because of putting it on blast. So whenever people say that they do something good, I don't think it's always them stroking themselves as much as it is the people they're doing the good for, asking them to do that so they can draw more attention to it so more people can do that. So I understand there are some people that are douchebags that only showcase those things, but I do believe, because I've been in these situations where they ask if I would showcase it to put them in a bigger spotlight or put like a spotlight on their thing. So I want to let that be known. So I don't want to judge every human that does that. But I do understand what you're saying with the assholes.
All right, I'll give another example. The guy from Fansided.
Oh, fuck him. Adam C. Best. Got it.
Right. He now has a pinned tweet. Like, he went silent for a while. Then he issues the apology. Now he has a pinned tweet about Colin Kaepernick's passer rating and how he should be starting in the NFL. It's like,
classic.
Right. Okay. We all knew that. We were saying that all summer long. The whole world was, it's obvious on its face. Why are you saying this now? Signaling your virtue. Look at me. I'm all about social causes and I'm here for justice or whatever. No, it's because you got caught being a misogynist douchebag. And
a bad one. A bad one. One of the worst humans on earth.
People that don't know what happened.
So Adam C. Best went after Barstool. He fucking came after Barstool amongst everybody else. It was a mob mentality. People were just attacking us left and right. And this guy decided to attack us just because he thought he would get him some good pub, a little virtue signal, and get a spotlight on him real quick because he had a good following, 25,000 people. So it was like, boom, boom, boom. Here's a retweetable thing. I'm going to get in on the action. Barstool's terrible to women. They're fucking awful people, blah, blah, blah. And then we have a guy named Spider Monkey in our fucking office, Barstool Nate, who is the king of the mud. He will go deep into your fucking history and find out if you right now are being a hypocrite. And apparently the guy that was coming after Barstool for being this terrible group on completely like out of bounds statements he was saying about Barstool that are just completely dumb, outrageous, not true at all. Turns out he was the worst human on earth when it came to that, like the worst person on earth. And our Spider Monkey found him.
And found all this content that Fansided had posted when he was running the show, and it's all, hey, Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders doing hula hoops, like just, objectifying women in a way that he claims to now find repulsive. Mm-hmm. And he now has 8,000 tweets total. That's because he deleted 17,000 tweets of stuff
of shit that he was scared of. 17.
How do you delete that many tweets?
It's a long night. That's a long night.
Done some coffee. Yep.
Oh my goodness. So wow. That's what. Especially now, you got to watch who you go after because they will go 10 years back.
Yes.
And find stuff.
What are you talking about? That's what ESPN did to Barstool. They went 3 years deep. Sam Ponder went 3 years deep on a guy that wasn't even in the show that's getting signed.
Yeah, so if you're not authentic in what you're doing and you're just doing something for, as we say, like virtue signaling, you definitely you better think about it, man, before you go after somebody.
People are woke now. We were just having this conversation in this office over here. People are woke now. You are no longer, there's no gullibility anymore in the world. Everybody is going to check your
there
ass.
is. Yeah, there really is. Though.
Yeah, but at some point you're going to get. I understand there's a group of people that just follow whatever and they're very gullible. They're just a crew of people. But I think there's a lot of people who will check your fucking ass nowadays. Everything is wokeness.
True.
I honestly believe there's a large group of people that do that. And ours is the spider monkey. But when it comes to the virtue signaling, like the great way to get in the good graces of people, you got to remember when I got arrested, the PR guys told me to go with Jesus, like a Jesus route. Like that would have been virtue signaling, right? Like the Lord said, only God can judge me. And I hope that's the case because Jesus is walking with me side by side all the way to the pearly gates until the day that I die. Thank you so much to Joseph 316 and Tim Tebow for showing me the light. Like, that's what I would have said. And it would have been like fucking airplayed everywhere. They would have tried to push that as me being some super religious guy. I would have gone on some Christian radio channel. It would have been outrageous. It would have been a full-on virtue signaling PR campaign. And I'm out.
Oh, no, we would have gone through all your old tweets and found all the stuff.
So quick.
Calling Jesus your Lord and Savior because you've been touting that since you got on Twitter. You've been spreading the word,
dude. That's what I told the PR guy though, straight up. I said, yeah, like that's not gonna work though. Like that, anybody who knows me at all, like that is just not gonna work. Cause like I don't know what to tell you.
Well, no, you probably told him like, hey, do you know what I plan on doing next week? Like that's not gonna work. People have phones. They have cameras.
They didn't back then though. Social media wasn't like gigantic back then. I could live a little bit. I was the last generation. I feel like I was the last generation of like young NFL guys that didn't have social media all over them everywhere they went. I'm very lucky to be that guy. And proud, by the way. And proud. I had to hold it down.
There was a great line on Saturday Night Live a couple of years ago. Remember when the Penn State students were protesting on behalf of Joe Paterno?
Oh, yeah.
And they, on Weekend Update, they brought out Jason Sudeikis as Satan. And Satan's going, look, guys, like, you do dumb stuff like this. It lives forever on the internet. That's why I invented it.
Hey,
I feel like you go through my tweets, and I've written some dumb stuff, and I've crossed a line or two, but I don't think you could ever find stuff that I publicly put out there like this fan-sided guy did, this Adam C. Best. I just feel like I have a filter where I'll sit there and go, okay, is it going to be a joke to have to explain this sometime?
Jerry, but the difference with you, though, is you're not ever playing that holier-than-thou character. That's the problem
Virtue
when you
signaling.
play that character. That's what it is. Like if you were puffing yourself up as this holier-than-thou, I would never say something like this. Why would someone ever do this? If you don't take that stance, it doesn't matter if they go back and get your stuff.
Amen. Yeah. Preach to the choir, AJ. Preach to the choir.
And I think on a side note, Jerry, sorry to cut you off. Was it Sudeikis who played Tebow when they had a little Tebow run on Saturday Night Live? Because that was great.
Jay Sud is funny. I met Jay Sud, just for future reference. Me and Jay Sud, we're on a little name basis like that. His name is Jay Sud. Jay Sud.
He's a Kansas City guy, right?
Yeah, Colquitt got me his information because he was in I went and saw him in a play. He was in what's that Robin Williams movie where he's the professor?
The Dead Poets Society.
Bang, Dead Poets. Jay Sud was in the Dead Poets Society, and my lady saw it on like Good Morning America or something, and we were going to New York, and she was like, I want to go to this show. And I was like, fuck, I think it's sold out. It had like 100 tickets or like 50 tickets per show. It was like a real small theater, like a square super hipster theater, like a super theater, like a theater nerd theater. Like it was a tiny little theater. So I texted Colquitt, and I was like, hey.
Say theater a few more times.
It was just the most theater you could have ever been in. It was like super theater, you know? It was very hipster theater.
So you texted Jay Sud and he got you in?
So I texted Colquitt, Dustin Colquitt from Kansas City, the punter from Kansas City. He's been out there a long time. And I said, hey, you said on one warm-ups, he was like, hey, any of these Kansas City comics, like I'm friends with them. So like if you ever need them for anything, let me know. And I'm like, my man. And I remembered that right after that Good Morning America show. And I was like, oh, I think I can actually. Text, email, bang, bang, bang. Jay Sud leaves me 2 tickets. I get in there, tells me to stick around the theater afterwards. I say, you got it. So we stick around afterwards, and there's like a crowd of like 30 people in our section sticking around. And I'm like, oh, this must be Jay Sud's group, you know? Turns out the guy that wrote the Dead Poets Society play was having his own group there, and our tickets just so happened to be in that group. So I got to listen to the owner of the said theater, like this legendary theater, talk about the Dead Poets Society. He did a full Q&A with his fucking writer. I was there for another 2 hours after the fucking play with 30 people, and I'm like, is Jay Sudd ever coming out here? By this point, it was like 12:30 a.m., 1 a.m. We walk outside, and he's just standing at the coat rack, and he was like, are you Pat? I was wondering when you were going to come out here. I was like, fuck, I stuck around the goddamn theater. So I literally, that was my whole experience. Shook his hand. He wanted to leave. He lived in Brooklyn, and he took a scooter back to Brooklyn. He said, hey, I ride a scooter. Let the hair down. And he goes, everything. He was a great guy, real cool guy. But it was a fucking incredible Jay Sudd moment.
Joe Business Buddy who has some connection to him. And I also hear Paul Rudd is another Kansas City guy who's real.
Jay Sudd,
Rob
Jay
Riggle.
Sudd, Paul Rudd, and Joe Buck are all boys.
Isn't Rob Riggle, too, in that Kansas City group? Is he a Kansas City guy? Does anybody know that? For some reason.
Yeah. He is. He's a Kansas City guy as well as the dude from Modern Family, the big dude, Cam.
Yeah, they're a funny fucking city, apparently. Apparently, just Kansas City is a hilarious place with great barbecue.
And Riggle's a Marine. And you'd never say ex-Marine with those guys. They're Marines for life. And I see him. He is in every comedy, but he's always got like a tiny role. You know what I mean? Yeah, in the face, ride the lightning. You know,
What a gimmick that guy has.
Oh, positively, friggin' what's the line from the other guys? Derek Jeter is a biracial angel.
Good for
I'm going to segue back to a guy who I'm giving a participation thingy to, who is apologizing this week for kind of similar to what we're talking about, a guy saying dumb shit. And that is Texans owner Bob McNair.
Shit, I don't know how I forgot about that. What a fucking idiot.
He almost shut down the NFL.
Yeah, for people who don't know, they're in this owners meeting with players sitting at the same table. And I understand they spent forever just deciding who's going to sit where. It's like when they were trying to negotiate peace in Vietnam. They spent days just arguing what shape the table should be. So they get this meeting underway, and this old fossil, this wrinkled fucking Demogorgon says,
yikes.
That would be letting the inmates run the prison. Like, all right, what did you filter out of that? Like, what was the thing you were going to say, but you said, that's too inflammatory. So you just, to go back to inmates in prison. And he's saying it to, like, Troy Vincent, and like, look, this old fuck probably has a map on the wall of his office that still has sea monsters on it. Okay? So we don't need him just fanning the flames. And now when this situation was about to be solved and we could put the issue of our times behind us, now the whole Texans team is in a corner where they got to like take a knee and just go, we're not down with that. Oh, what a dope.
There's so many other metaphors you could have used, right? Just a zero self-awareness, having no idea that it's 2017, having no idea how big of a controversy this all is, just dropping the worst metaphor at the worst possible time to the worst group of people about the worst possible thing, and having no idea about it until later it was leaked. Like, not even getting in front of it, not even getting out in front of it before it comes out. Just sitting back, nobody on his team that was in there with him. He probably had people sitting in there with him, his like crew or whatever, at least a handler or two. Nobody was like, hey, you think maybe we should think about saying that you accidentally said this? Like, nobody even did that. Like, nobody even thought that. But the thing about it is, the Texans had an incredible game against the Seahawks. They ended up losing in last second. And this conversation will continue to evolve and continue to grow, but it won't affect anything, I bet. Like, it'll affect maybe some change in tone from the owners, because maybe they'll feel like they fucked up. Like, maybe the owners will feel like they fucked up now, so maybe they'll change the tone and everything they're doing. But I just don't see Bob McNair. There's zero self-awareness from powerful old white people right now. Zero self-awareness from powerful old white people. That goes across the fucking board. Old white people who are in positions of power have zero self-awareness. They have no clue about anything.
You know, when they were spitting water all over their laptops when he said it, what do you think his reaction was? Like, I'm not saying you're prisoners. I'm saying you're non-Caucasians, so you commit more crimes and get incarcerated more. Someone tell me where I'm wrong. He's turned into his butler. Like, what did I say?
I think that's the problem, Jerry. I think he didn't even realize what he said. I don't think he had the awareness to know, like, oh, I should never even think that.
I have a question. How many owners were in there?
I don't think it was 32. As a matter of fact, I know for a fact they excluded like Jerry Jones because he takes over meetings like that. Yeah. So they
wins them and does it right. I'm assuming he takes over those meetings and just says like, hey, listen, I see your side. I see this side now. Listen, we got to come to an agreement here, and let's make this work because we're a great business together. But when we're apart, we're like five fingers. You see, this is the church. This is the steeple. You look inside, you see all the people, and that's what we need to do is we need to get the people into the church. That's what Jerry Jones would do. He would have made it work. Instead, you got Bob McNair making fucking metaphors looking like the most racist human in the history in the middle of a moment where everybody's fighting about how racist white people are when it's not the majority of white people. It's a few dumbass white people that are getting broad brush. It's just, that's the type of shit, though. That's so dumb. That is so zero self-awareness. That's all it is. Zero self-awareness.
And I want to get into that game because I might have been the game of the year so far. But quickly, a total self-serving game ball here. I'm giving it to the production company on the film that I'm a part of, that I got to see an advance preview of. It's a documentary about Deflategate by a legitimate filmmaker. Her last movie was about mammograms and how they don't detect breast cancer. Like, for real, she's not a football fan. She doesn't care about the Patriots. This is just a story about media manipulation and fake science, and it's got law professors. It's got this guy, Robert Blecker, who was on 60 Minutes talking about it. It's got MIT physicists and one guy in a bar rant and raving about Tom Brady. So it's called 4 Games in Fall. It's not out yet. They still got to cut the director's thing down, the director's cut, and they're still looking for distribution.
Is this what DeQuell Jackson's out there marketing? Because DeQuell Jackson's definitely going to be a part of this.
He wasn't interviewed for it, although I had to point out to them that the thing that the story that DeQuell Jackson started to flake up by intercepting a Brady pass and saying, hey, this ball feels kind of squishy, is a myth. DeQuell Jackson.
So how is that not in the documentary then? You're saying she's such a critically acclaimed person. If she's not going to have the first person in the whole like, how is that a good documentary? That seems like that's a bad documentary. And if there's only interviewing one person that's ranting about the guy who's getting found guilty, that seems like an awful spinny of a documentary, don't you think?
He's mentioned, and that story is in there, but she says that's in the 6-hour version. This thing right now is an hour 45, and nobody watches documentaries that long, so it's got to be edited.
I disagree. Unacknowledged. 97 minutes. I watched it. It's about aliens. They're here. They're real. I'm excited about this, though. Are you the guy that's ranting in the bar?
Yes. That would be me.
Did you put on a good show, you think? Did you put on a good...
I'm on a panel, like doing a Q&A after the limited premiere of this thing, and I should point out Mr. and Mrs. Tom Brady Sr. were there, and I'm sitting there with Mike McCann, who covers law for Sports Illustrated, is there. He's a UNH professor. This guy from MIT, and this guy who went to college and doesn't use his degree and sits around in a friggin' Batman sweatshirt all day long. So, but it's an interesting story. I say it because I think if you don't have a dog in that fight, you're still going to find it interesting because it's about how powerful corporations, guys like Bob McNair, how they spin things, how they put out disinformation, how it relates to things like what the tobacco companies
Bill
do.
Bill Nye had that red balloon. He had a red balloon that was explaining the whole Deflategate thing, and I watched him re-explain it to Dave Portnoy right in the middle of the Sirius XM, and I'll tell you what, Dave did not back down. Dave was right in Dave Portnoy, Stool Presidente, was in a science off with Bill Nye the Science Guy because of his red balloons and these MIT scientists. So I'm excited to see the documentary.
I'll let you know when it's out.
Good for you, by the way. You hear him just dropping his film creds out of nowhere? He gave himself a trophy right there.
How did this lady find you? Like, how did you get involved?
Read my book and said, this sounds like a guy that, and Deflategate isn't in there. The book doesn't cover that. And she just said, this is a guy that I'll reach out to.
Jerry, what's the name of your book?
From Darkness to Dynasty, the first 40 years of the Patriots. It's on the bookshelf behind Ian Rappaport on NFL Network every time he does a remote. And I'm probably the only one in the world who sits there going, there it is. I can see it. It's right there.
That has to be fucking awesome, though. That is incredible. Good for you.
Yeah, I mean, it violates the rule that before you write a book, you should first have read one.
I like that. I plan on doing that same goddamn thing. You're like a mentor to me right now. I plan on doing that same thing. That's exciting.
Once you get it done, it feels amazing. Like athletes always say when they win a championship, it's worth it. That's why we lift all them weights. That's why I spend so many Saturday afternoons leaning over a laptop by myself or whatever. So I'm currently pregnant with book 2.
That's awesome.
Of this December, I'll let you know because it's a project, man. But anyway, all right. So that said, I'm glad I got my plugs out of the way. Houston, Seattle, holy crap on a cross. That was insane. Like, I know maybe it didn't have the highest stakes of any game this season so far, but far and away the best thing to watch. Deshaun Watson had 198 yards passing in the first half or something. I don't know if the number's right, but Russell Wilson ends up with 450 yards. That Watson did that against Cam Chancellor and my voice is breaking, and Earl Thomas, and did it while throwing 3 picks. Threw into Richard Sherman and still puts up 38 points and then loses. I would watch that all over.
That was an incredible game. Shane Leckler called me directly after the game and told me he wishes he was younger because this quarterback is legit. He was at the Oakland Raiders whenever they were not good. And then he went to the Texans and has just been battling through terrible quarterback after non-consistent quarterback. And then now he's like, fuck, this is the guy, and I'm on my way out. It's about over. That place looks like the future is very fucking bright, which is wild because Bob McNair tried to ruin it all. But it looks like the future of that team on the football field is incredible. The business, who the fuck knows? But the team looks awesome. The defense is built to last. Even without J.J. Watt, they're still incredible. Clowney's really fucking good. When Cushing gets back, he's incredible. They look like they're a team that's built to be great, especially if they find a quarterback. You need a quarterback. It's 1,000% the maker or breaker in the NFL, and they think they found one. But the fucking Seattle Seahawks still figure out a way to win. Russell Wilson is just this grimy little thing that just never gets tackled. He's just a ball player, man. It's such an interesting way he plays. He's just a football player, man. And every time he does an interview, I'm like, this guy says the same shit. I would never want to hang out with this guy ever in a million years. But he just looks like he's an incredible football player who says all the right things, so you can't hate him for that. Like, I have no idea what he is as a person, but he's a fucking football player. That was a great game. I enjoyed it a lot. And Shane Leckler had a 60-yard perfect punt that checked up at the 4-yard line. Just got to make sure that is known. It was an incredible ball. It was great for the brand, and he's 40-plus years old, still slanging that thing around the yard. That's very awesome.
Hey, that's what I'm saying, though. You're saying he wish he was younger, he's on his way out. If you're kicking 60-yard bombs that back up, why is he on his way out?
Because it's a consistency thing at this point. So now it's like he gets his it's not he's not inconsistent. He's still one of the better guys in the league, but it's getting to the point as you get older, like your leg just slows down. So like you catching it on a regular basis just gets a lot harder because your leg's not as fast. So he just happened to catch that one where back in the day he would catch it every fucking time. Now it's like 1 for 3, 1 for 4. That's when you start finding that out. It's like if you're hitting your nut ball, one out of what? That's kind of how it goes.
AJ, were you ever much of put a lot of stock in like straight line speed on guys? You ever look at 40 times and think that is worth anything?
If they were already a good player, like say a guy's a college stud and he goes to the combine and we already knew he was a great player and he runs a 4.3, then yeah, I put something to it because he's a good football player. But when a guy comes out of nowhere and you've never really heard of him, he wasn't very productive in college, and all of a sudden at the combine they're saying he's going to be a top 15 pick, but no one's ever really seen him, then no, I don't put any stock in that.
The reason I'm asking is because of Will Fuller. Is it Will Fuller the 5th? Is it Will Fuller V?
Right? It's IV, right? 4th? I think he's the 4th.
And when do you decide that you've stopped being a junior, but now you're going to get the Roman numeral? Or
I think that's the 3rd. Like you go to the 3rd, you go to a Roman numeral.
That all just came about probably the last 3 or 4 years where you put senior or junior.
No, are you kidding me? Junior's been around long time. Hey there, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Are you kidding me? You
No,
said
I'm
now
saying on the back of your-
Dale
on the back
Earnhardt,
of your-
the most famous junior, has been around a long time, and you're saying it's a recent thing? No way, AJ. Junior's been around a long time. Long time.
It's an NFL nameplate thing. Senior has become big as well now as the IVV, whatever. Like that's everyone just once one person does it, people are like, oh, that's cool. Like the shield, like the weird visors, dark visors, all that stuff.
It only used to be if your dad also played in the league. So Ken Griffey Jr., Cal Ripken Jr., but like Steve Smith Sr., is he really worried that we're going to confuse him with his kid who's like in elementary school somewhere? So we need the senior, or is it just...
I kind of like the senior at the end. Pat McAfee Sr.
Yeah, it's just something to change it up, to look different, and I get it. It's cool, whatever. Pat, you should have done that, McAfee Sr.
Well, that's what I'm thinking about. Like, but then I have to reproduce and make a terrible decision.
No, you don't. There's no, like, you think you have to sign out or bring your child's birth certificate to get senior on your jersey?
People
you're out there somewhere.
No, there isn't. Every Father's Day that passes, Jerry. Every Father's Day that passes, no card.
That is something, though. Honestly, though, if you did do that, let's say you put senior on there, I wouldn't be shocked if you got a letter from Roger Goodell and said take it off.
I wanted to change my name to PHUCK, so my jersey would say "fuck one." But nobody thought that would pass.
You probably couldn't even get that through NFL merchandise.
Yeah, but like it would have sold so many jerseys. I would have sold so many jerseys, it would have been outrageous. It would have been. I would have had to sit down with the New York NFL office and try to pitch them this business plan about how many jerseys we'd sell to a demographic that they haven't reached in years, and then they would just tell me absolutely not, and then I would have to go back to being McAfee Sr. again.
Hey, listen, if my parents can name me after my grandfather Jeremiah and then call me Gerard,
Oh,
Don't start this again. Don't get into this again.
Jesus, don't. I don't want to be a part of it.
All right, so Will Fuller IV, a guy who just broke stopwatches at the combine and hasn't really stayed healthy enough to be that productive. He caught a friggin' bomb behind the Legion of Boom, caught it in stride. Watson hit him, like, aired out. It must have gone 60 yards in the air, and I'm like, is this guy gonna turn into something now? Because I've never been into the straight line speed. Al Davis, especially in his later years when he was like, basically drinking unicorn blood to stay alive, was like all he cared about was your 40 time. And he drafted everybody, tackles, guards, receivers, Darius Hayward Bay or whatever. And yet this kid looks like if he gets behind people, no one in the league is fast enough to catch up to him. That was insane.
But he's a different case though, Jerry. Like he was actually good in college at Notre Dame, but he didn't really have. You have to have a good quarterback too that can use that speed, and not underthrow you as well. So he wasn't like a guy that came out of nowhere and all of a sudden is a top 10 pick or a first rounder. Like he was a legit player.
I want to let you know we had DHB as a gunner and we had a go route called. By the way, I was the first guy to tell DHB to go ahead and try out gunner. We need you, buddy. And he said, I'll do anything for the team. And he became the gunner for us. And it saved his whole career becoming a special teams player. Nobody really knows that, but that's a true story. DHB was the most selfless guy I'd ever met in my life. He was a first-round pick because of that. Very much humbled, came to the Colts. We literally had a conversation. I had a conversation with my special teams coach. I was like, I think DHB could be a fucking gunner. I think DHB could be a really good gunner. He's like, he'll never let him do it or whatever. The Colts will never let him do it or whatever. So then as the season went on, I was like, hey, DHB would be a great fucking gunner if we could get him. He's not really playing that much anymore. And bang, here he comes in. We didn't give up a single return yard the rest of the year he was in, but we had a go route. If the corner came in off of him and left him hot, we had a go route. So they knew that I wouldn't underthrow a 4.2 40 guy. I want to let you know that, AJ. That's why the punt, pass, and kick thing, has meaning. Because I get to throw a go route to a first round draft pick 4.2 40 guy. Just want to let you know.
Well, no, in theory you get to throw it, but did you ever throw it?
No, absolutely not. But it's not about
exactly.
that. AJ, it's not about that. AJ, it's about going to bed at night knowing that if it did come, I was ready to fucking roll. I was ready to go. It was just about what you think at night when you go to bed. That last thought before you hit the pillow,
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha, Pat.
Yeah. Would I have been able to do it? Probably not. But it never showed up, so it didn't have to happen. That's all that
Yeah,
matters.
I would have loved to see you just take like a big crow hop and just launch that thing.
Oh, and then probably get blasted by said corner that was coming hot. So I would crow hop directly into the corner that was coming hot off the edge. So I would lose my face and underthrow him. It would be the worstest thing to happen to me since the Canals mugshot.
Yeah,
Allegedly.
you would be blacked out. They would and since you don't really have, there's not really backup punters. They would just give you like a little
cortisone.
They would want to show for the cameras that they had you in the concussion protocol following the light, and you'd look like Joe Flacco did on Thursday night. You wouldn't even know where you were at. And they're like, oh, he's good, coach. Right back in there. We had him checked out. He's all good.
What a shot he took from Alonzo.
Yeah.
That was a fucking bang. Like that was one of those ones where Joe Flacco probably won't watch it. Like I bet you his family won't watch it. Like that was a bad fucking hit.
No, his like finger, his hand went up, and like it was nasty, and I don't like. There's so much talk about it, and I guess what the halftime show did Dion and someone defend Kiko?
I'll tell you what, Dion. I used to love Deion Sanders. One of my favorite football players growing up. He was the guy. Then whenever he started tweeting, he called himself Truth. Everything he tweeted, he said Truth or something. And he had like a Truth team, and this whole thing, I was like, yeah, I'm loving this. But man, ever since. He's saying some things where I'm like, Dion, like what you're saying some dumb stuff. Like, what are you doing, Dion? Dion used to be the best on TV, 21st in prime or whatever. He used to have that it was awesome. And now I don't know what's going on. He's on CBS. He's big time. But he did stick up for Kiko Alonso. He said he didn't see him. He was blinded, blah, blah, blah. He definitely went for his head there, right?
Well, I when you watch it in slow-mo, like Flacco's going, he's going, and Flacco wasn't planning on sliding, but then Kiko, I think, caught him, like it came out of his periph, and he saw Kiko at the last second. So Flacco did slide late, but Kiko had like a step and a half where he could have at least probably dove over top of him maybe, but it definitely wasn't like, oh, this guy's definitely going down to slide. Like Flacco was full clip, and then he said, oh, we saw him, bam, goes down late, and Kiko took his head off.
Everyone that's defending him says that when a quarterback goes down, you are taught to fly at his head because he's going to drop and you'll go safely over him. Like, don't aim low because then you're going to hit his head as it drops. And it looked like he was trying to do that. It looked like he lowered the shoulder. You know, it was like a perfect thing where,
when I'm going to lay the wood on somebody, I always think, aim for the head so I can fly over top of them. Like that's my number one thought. So I can understand how people are saying that about Kiko Alonso. That's kind of how
The other apologists are digging out old film of Flacco showing that he doesn't know how to slide. Like a couple years ago, he tried to slide and his foot caught and he just went over face first. And
speaking of foot caught, did you see the Chicago Bears guy? Yikes.
Oh my God.
Yikes. That was on grass too, wasn't it?
Zach Miller catches a pass, comes down with it, and when Gordon Hayward's foot bent sideways his first night with the Celtics, I missed it. Yeah. I was in the car. I didn't see it. I'm going to go to my grave never looking at it. I made the mistake of seeing Zach Miller in real time, and it was you can't unsee it.
Yeah. It was terrible.
And then to make it worse, they reviewed the touchdown and said he didn't have control of the ball, so they wave it off.
Yikes.
Now, whatever. Third down, 40 yards back upfield. That might be one of those career-ending ones. We have to talk to DeQuell Jackson about that.
That was wild. I felt so bad for him. It was very wild.
I pointed a ball, guys on him, nothing dirty about it, just one of those freakish things. And it's a dislocation. And I know if those things aren't treated right away, you can actually like lose the leg because you lose all circulation and crap. If you haven't seen it yet, AJ, and I get the feeling maybe you haven't, don't. If you hear them, if you're watching highlights of the Bears game, you should flip over and come back 5 minutes later.
Yeah, I saw when it was going on. I was watching games, and so obviously it hit the internet and it was going around, and I chose to. I don't know. I don't really like watching those. Like I saw it's like watching the Celtics guy that went down. Like just when all the players were losing their mind and just gasping.
I don't know how people like watching that.
Yeah,
people love that shit though. People watch it on the internet all the time. Like I hate it. I can't.
I'd much rather watch an ISIS guy saw a guy's head off than that.
What?
Yeah.
like all those things just kind of. I mean, I'm all about an ISIS guy getting his head sawed just for future reference. We're all a team.
Me too.
Fuck
Like,
ISIS.
I'm saying it's less disgusting to watch a head
all,
saw.
all those things, including 2 girls, 1 cup. Just it's an instant vomit. Like for me, it's
that's the worst.
yeah. All of
anything that involves a compound fracture, which sounds pretty benign, it should just be called bone piercing through skin.
Yeah.
Call it that. Who was the guy who slid into second a few years ago and his foot came out of the socket and the
Pete Rose, I think. Pete Rose?
No,
he slid into first. He slid into first.
Head
the
first.
last 10 years, a guy caught his foot on the bag and the shortstop was on his hands and knees throwing up. I should know this off the top of my head, but I mean, Joe Theismann's the greatest example. When his shin bone just bent sideways at a 90-degree angle. And again, sometimes you talk about laying down at night, Pat. Sometimes an image like that will pop into my head, and I know that I'm going to lose sleep for like an hour.
I'm getting worried about me, by the way. Really? Like, I've had this mucus shit in my body for the last 2 weeks. I think everybody on earth has had it except for AJ Hawk, because all he does is drink these mixed protein shakes and bathes his kids 24 times a day. I've been drinking a lot of NyQuil. I've been doing this NyQuil thing. Boy, these dreams have been outrageous, cuz I've been fucking living in these dreams. And
You drinking what, the lean?
No, I did go through a little hint of lean in college, though. I enjoyed
How was that for real? What is it like? What is it? How do you feel on
So
that?
it makes you like 1,000 times more whatever you're doing. So like the first time I drank it, I was on like a couch hanging out, and boy, I was the most comfortable I've ever been in my entire life. And then the next time I took it, I went out to a club, and boy, I ain't never had that much fun in a club. It was just like both ends of the spectrum. It was just like, it almost had an appeal, like you just felt good. Like everything just felt.
I was under the impression that it would, as you said, like it almost tires you out, so it can give you juice as well.
It gave me, yeah. So you go out with it. People go out with it. They go out to nightclubs. That's why you see like the double cups. Like people.
Yeah. I know Lil Wayne, like he has had seizures and stuff, and they say it definitely could be part of it. But
yeah, I'm happy I got out of that run. But it was just like, it just felt good. It just felt good. But NyQuil right now, these dreams are fucking outrageous, and it's, boy, I was in Avatar 2 nights ago. Are you kidding me? 2 nights ago, I was in Avatar, and then I had to wake up into this. Think about that. Like, my dream was so awesome. Me and Jacob Solly just roaming the earth, searching for unobtainium. It was absurd. And then I wake up.
Blue and like flying one of those pterodactyl things?
Yeah,
or were you like a person? Were you Pat McAfee in Pandora World?
I was a Pat McAfee avatar. So I really loved me. I was a big fan of everything I was doing. I could run faster. My feet didn't hurt. I was running on trees and shit. My feet did not hurt. Now, like if I have something in my shoe, I'm down for the count. But like in my dreams, I'm just sprinting through trees. I'm having a blast. I was having a great time.
Are these lucid dreams?
I don't know what that means. I don't think.
Where you recognize you're in a dream
and
you decide, oh, I'm going to take part.
Yes. Yeah, like I was enjoying it. Like I was making decisions. Yeah, I was making decisions for my avatar. And now this is on 2 like PMs, Tylenol PMs, and some NyQuil. But I was deep in there. Like I used to take Ambien the night before the games. Same shit. Like those Ambien dreams are absurd. And then you wake up, you're like, fuck. Like, man, I was just living. I was having a great time. But I can see how people get addicted to it. So don't do that. Don't be a fucking jackass and get me in trouble for telling this story. But I was having a great time in there. I was having a great time.
This is from the NyQuil, not from that other stuff, that lean stuff you were talking about?
No, this is NyQuil. Yeah, the lean, literally, I was just like in the couch for, I think it was a good 8 hours, like 7-8 hours. I was just having a good time there.
What's the active ingredient in that stuff?
It's just cough syrup, but like you mix it with like a drink and it becomes lean. So it's like cough syrup.
You put it, the cough syrup that you can't get, like you can't buy it on
codeine.
the shelf.
Codeine,
and then don't you put something else in?
Yeah, you mix it. So you mix your codeine, and it becomes a drink that's titled lean, right? It was found in Houston called Purple Drank, and it's just what is it?
Promethazine.
Promethazine. Look at Vibs busting in one Post Malone. I bet you that's from a Post Malone song.
Saucin'.
Yeah, that was a Post Malone right there. That's what just happened. But yeah, I tried it way back in college. I haven't done it in a long time. But this NyQuil and the Tylenol PM, I'm living, cuz me and Jacob Solly, bro. Are you kidding me? That movie it made $1 bazillion, and I was right in the middle of it, and then I wake up.
It's like the kind of fever dream you'd have in a sweat lodge if you're eating peyote or whatever.
What?
I don't know.
With Jim Carrey.
Yeah, I don't know if I want my dreams that.
Are you kidding me, Jerry? You what? You just heard what I just said? You don't want your dreams? You do not want to be running around with Jacob Sully on Pandora?
No, Jerry would have to go to confession after that.
Wake up to your real ordinary life. I don't know. I don't want my dreams to be better than my real life.
What?
You know what I mean?
That's why it's called a dream. What are you talking about?
So what, you want all nightmares? How's that work?
I want to wake up and live a dream. I prefer them to just be kind of ordinary, or the kind where thing, and then you wake up and you go, well, I'm so glad I didn't actually do.
Babe, you should have seen these blogs I was churning out in my dreams. It was amazing. You want it to like motivate you? Like, man, I could do so much more. I could post 4 blogs in a day instead of 3.
Like, just mildly stupid enough that I go, okay, I got that out of my system. I'm glad that's not me. Now I get to be my best self, which is me. That's a harsh reality to wake up and say that you're an 8-foot-tall blue guy who can fly and has mountains that float in midair.
I am so mind blown by the fact. I think I lost everybody.
You dump your pants?
Oh, what the heck, Pat?
What happened to Pat?
I think maybe the NyQuil kicked in.
You blew my mind so much, I kicked out my cord for my headphones. I couldn't hear anything. I just went complete radio silent. I'm mind blown that you don't want your dreams to be good. Like, that makes no sense to me. Dreams, that's what they're called. They're called dreams. Like, that's where you're supposed to, like, dreams.
Started off this by saying that, and now I'm here talking to you guys. Like, wouldn't you eventually just want to be in that dream state all the time?
No.
You know, we're getting there. It's going to be a VR world. We're just going to fall into this, like...
I worked for Intel for a day. I don't think it's going to be a VR world for a long time. The camera angles... Yeah, the camera angles are just not close enough. It's going to be... Unless they can figure out the technology, which they're getting close, but it's not for a few years at least. It's not like tomorrow.
You know what? I got one of those goggles, and they cost like, I don't know, $20, $30 or whatever. You put your phone in there, and there are certain just apps that just give you experiences. Like, you can walk up the bridge in Sydney, Australia.
How awesome is that? Is that fucking awesome? Should I do this?
It doesn't cost a lot. It's not a big deal. It just uses a lot of juice on your phone, and it's freaky. One of them, I was with the South Carolina Gamecocks, and you, with the football team, marching out of the tunnel, and you're standing on the field in the pregame, and it's 360 degrees around in all directions.
That's pretty fucking awesome. I should buy one of these, I think. I don't want to go out of the tunnel. I'm about sick of that. But, like, is there, like, a beach where I can just go sit at a beach?
You're in space. They've got.
Oh, my God. I'm going to eat a gummy and take the fuck off. Is it sound, too? Like, are you plugged in headphones, too? How's that work?
The goggles have like earpieces on them that cover your ears, and so you can hear stuff. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's kind of blocky and not that cool. It's kind of like early computer animation, but the stuff that's good is pretty freaky. It's disorienting. Like, you'll find yourself like, you know, ready to fall over or whatever. And if you're freaked out by heights like I am, because you believe that gravity is not just a good idea, it's the law, that it's weird to be up on a bridge. Like, you get that feeling like you're falling in a dream or whatever. So try it.
So you don't like being on heights because you have trust issues?
That when you fall, it's painful and horrifying, and you die at the bottom.
Yeah, but you don't trust the people that built the bridge or the building? Like, you think it's going to fall? Like, you think you're going to be the piece that's going to make it fall over?
90% of my nightmares are I'm someplace high. I'm up in a scaffolding at a skyscraper or whatever. I'm stuck on a cliff or whatever.
You should turn that into a dream. Have a good view. Get in there and enjoy the fucking skyscraper or the cliff, Jerry. Jesus, there's more to your dreams than just nightmares, bub.
I was on NyQuil. You know, I'm going to start doing it. Yeah, I'm going to go against your advice to stay away from that stuff, and I'm going to make that part of my daily routine.
It makes you better, too. It does make you healthier. I have gotten significantly healthier. I don't know if it's because of time and natural progression of sicknesses, but NyQuil has definitely helped. But I won't be sick here in a couple, like probably a week. So I got to use up all my NyQuil time. This is once a year this happens.
Well, before you start getting high off your purple drank, maybe we should bust around the league stuff we didn't mention. Dallas at Washington. game, Kirk Cousins quarterbacking behind a line of guys, most of whom with the team 48 hours ago. It was as if they were just calling like 5 lucky ticket holders down out of the stands and suiting them up and letting them do like fantasy, like an old time fantasy league and play offensive line for Cousins. How he survived that, I don't know. But I think by the end, he was just so goddamn shell shocked that they needed a touchdown to tie, and he was throwing like 4-yard dump off passes with no timeouts. And I don't blame him.
It's impossible to win without an offensive line, too. I said a quarterback earlier, but every game is basically won in the trenches. Is that not right, AJ? I don't know football enough, but I know that when our offensive line sucks, we suck, and when our offensive line was pretty good, we were good. Is that about right?
Yeah, it's probably second to having a franchise quarterback. You got to have an O-line that's decent. I'd say like you have to have a serviceable O-line that's not going to get you killed.
Yeah.
But what happens? Think about Kirk Cousins. Where does he go after this? Is he going to jet off to San Fran and he and Kyle Shanahan reunite and all of a sudden turn around the 0-8 Niners next year? What happens?
By the way,
again, right?
What's up?
2 years in a row is the most you can franchise a guy, if I'm not mistaken. So I think he has to hit the market. They either have to sign him or he goes because they can't use that trigger again.
As a player who was franchise tagged and played under a franchise tag, I did not specifically love it, but I enjoyed the guarantee part of it, that no matter what happened. So I bet you Kirk Cousins is very excited. Today he gave an interview with Aaron Andrews, I think, and he said that I've learned in this league that they'll cut you on your birthday, they'll cut you on Christmas. They do not care when they'll cut you, so everybody's on basically a 1-year contract. And that was his PR answer for the franchise tag thing, which makes a lot of sense. But goddamn, whenever you hear a number like you're getting $100 million guaranteed, that's a little bit of a different animal than not just $20 million, but $100 million guaranteed is like, that's fuck you money on top of fuck you money. Like, that's next level fuck you money. And I'm assuming he's expecting that very soon. That 49ers team is not good at football, though. Like, what are they doing? They're not good at football.
They got they have CJ Beathard playing quarterback. How is he doing?
What's his name?
Right?
What'd you just say? I don't think you pronounced that right.
Beathard.
No, I think
Iowa.
you said it wrong.
Iowa kid.
I think you said it wrong. What's his name?
No, I that's how it's spelled. CJ Beathard. Is his first name not CJ?
I have no idea. Is he? I got an Iowa guy back in the booth back there. Is his name CJ Beathard? Bethard, he's saying. His name is Bethard.
Yeah. Beathard from Iowa. That's right. I know who.
Her name will be.
I bet.
Some guy who called controversy.
Controversy.
There's a comedian, a small little guy named something Beathard as well.
Yeah, and I forget who was the first person to say controversy. I think it was a little comedian as well. So controversy.
You put the emphasis on the wrong syllable.
Oh, now listen, don't be harassing me. I don't like being a part of harassment. Any type of harassment, whether it's physical harassment or physical or mental
Hey Jerry,
harassment.
do you wait in line or do you wait online?
In line, because online
You're right.
now is
You're right.
It means strictly being on Wi-Fi. Now.
No, online is New York. New Yorkers still say online.
They're wrong. We know they're wrong. Everybody knows.
they're.
They're wrong.
I think I did this like the first. I think I asked you that in the first episode. Maybe like they always confuse me. Well, I waited online for 2 hours.
How?
And
Like you
they're
get a
talking
better.
about waiting for like tickets at a theater or something.
By the way, when you go to the small theaters that are like the theaters, you don't have to wait in line for tickets because there's not a lot of tickets because it's such a very small theater. You know what I mean?
Yeah, old Jay Sud hooking you up.
Cuzzo, Dead Poet Society.
Think about it. You got to listen to a 2-hour Q&A with a guy that built a theater.
Yeah,
Sounds
man.
riveting.
It was very deep, man. Yeah, I was real high too. My lady was too. So we were just sitting there like, there's no way this is what we're supposed to be in the middle. And like I said, my face never lies. Like my face never lies. So I couldn't even imagine. Sam, my girl, was dying laughing at me reacting to the things that were going on. And there was no getting up and leaving because it was so small. You couldn't get up and leave. Like we were right in the middle of all.
You
of it.
didn't ask any questions though?
No, I asked 0 questions. It was a hosted Q&A. We were just the audience. There was no questions from the audience. There was an applause break for a couple things, and then that was about it. It was just a very. I gave a lot of big woo. All right, I gave a lot of excited, because when you get to that point, you got to turn it into entertainment, right? It's
Sure.
like when you're at a Catholic wedding. Like, you got to turn that shit into entertainment. Like, the first time I heard that rib story, I almost lost my shit. I'm like, that's real. Like, that's what happened. I started dying. I was very much enjoying it. I had to do it for that Q&A thing, too. I was all in on it. Guy was good.
Yeah, for future reference, next time some little theater is showing a play version of a movie that's on cable literally 24 hours a day, every day of your life, just stay home.
Yeah, but
just
what about
watch the Williams version? Stand on a desk, carpe diem. We're all just food for worms, boys. Oh, Captain, my Captain. You don't have to go sit in a theater and watch somebody perform that live.
You don't get to feel it, Jerry, okay? You just didn't get to feel it the same way I got to feel it whenever old buddy was standing right next to me on the steps next to me screaming, "Oh, Captain, my Captain." Right there on this. I was in it. I was in the movie, Jerry, for a long time.
I'm confused. The rib story, the Marilyn Manson rib story, is that the one that blew your mind?
I heard that's bullshit. Is that bullshit? I heard that's bullshit.
What?
The Marilyn Manson story. That's all bullshit I heard.
I mean, I don't know. It's probably like the old rumor mill. Who knows?
But no, the rib one, the Catholic one. You guys tell that story at weddings. You know it, Jerry. The rib.
Help me out, Jesus.
Like, not
ribs.
a gimmick. No, didn't somebody take out their rib and give it to their, like, "You're my rib" or something like that?
That's Eve was made from Adam's rib.
That's it. I lost my shit in the church the first time I heard that. I was having a blast.
How old were you when this happened?
I was like 24, probably 25. I lost my shit.
That's the first time your brain had come across that story.
Yeah. I was so happy, too.
You grew up in Pittsburgh, the most, like, a Roman Catholic place in America.
No, we didn't fuck with the religious, cuz. We didn't do that at the McAfees. It wasn't our big thing. My dad went to Catholic school, but he didn't force it on us. We went to church for a couple years there for a little bit of a, like, I went there for, like, the basketball and the kickball and stuff. But I never heard that before, and it was at my boy's wedding, my college roommate's wedding. He was like a super religious family, married into a super religious family, and we are lit at this fucking Catholic wedding. Like, it's college days all of a sudden back. We're gone. I'm gone at this point. I'm on a concoction of things at this point, and I'm sitting there front row at this church, and I'm just dialed into this fucking father giving his story. And I was dialed all the way in. I started laughing at shit. I was having a good time. I'm like, this.
So you didn't realize it was like a Catholic weddings, like usually like an hour sermon before they say "I do"?
No clue. I had no clue what I was signing up for.
I'll never forget the first civil wedding I ever went to. Not at a Catholic church, and it was like in and out in 10 minutes. I'm like, that's how this goes.
Everybody wants to get to the after thing. What's it called?
Reception.
That thing. Everybody wants to get to that thing. That's all we're trying to get to. But the Catholics turned it into a full stand-up bit. They did a hot hour. I loved it. I was losing my shit. This father did a hot hour.
You got to get the host and all that crap. But hey, don't blame that Book of Genesis stuff just on the Catholics. That's on the old Hebrews. That's page 3 of the Old Testament. What you're talking about.
Don't be passing the buck there, Mr. Walk on Water. Don't be passing the buck.
Yeah, the universe is 5,000 years old, and there were 2 people, and they were in a garden, and one son killed the other son. Yeah, take a hard pass on that. Because plus, your Old Testament God is all about just vengeance and suffering. Like your New Testament God, it's about forgiveness, but like the shit he did to Job just to make a point. He made a bet with the devil. Like, watch, I'll make this guy suffer. And he'll keep his. And like he wiped out his family, he salted his fields, he burned down his house, and then after that gave him boils on his neck. Like, really, you couldn't have just.
You don't cross the boss, cuz. You just don't cross the boss. That's the big thing. I have a full idea in my mind called "I Got Questions." Right? I've been thinking about this, and it's just me, a father, a pastor, and maybe an Allah. What are they? Prophets? What are they called? Is that what are?
I think you got it. You got it.
Imam.
What? AJ, excuse me. What is it, Jerry?
Would it be like an imam? I think.
An imam. Yeah. I want to call it like I got questions, and I'm looking for my religion, and I want to have real conversations with these people about like the true Mormons. I want to talk to the head Mormon guy. I want to just me and them sit down at a table, I got questions. I'm just going to go ahead and because I got a lot of them. Because I feel like I've invested a lot of time in a lot of these religions. I feel like I understand them all a little bit, but I got a lot of questions. I think it'd be good.
Yeah, I'm going to suggest bring in one of those guys who's in one of those cults where everyone gives him money.
Oh, yeah. Like, whatchamacallit? Like that guy that had, he's getting out of jail soon. What's his name? Charles Manson.
Yeah, not that kind. I'm thinking more like the kind where you just have a lot of free sex.
Joel Osteen.
Yeah, I'll give you money. Like, I think that would be really cool. No murders, no suicide. Not those ones where they all like drink the Kool-Aid with laced
But I do
cyanide.
got questions for them too.
None of that.
I mean, I would have questions for them too. I think that would be okay if I asked them questions too.
Well, guys, look, we're going to probably wrap this up in a minute. Clearly, halfway mark, roughly, of the season. Philadelphia had far and away the best team in football, right? We can't argue that. Both sides of the ball. Getting it done today, kicking the crap out of.
You could argue that.
Okay, I'm all for it. I mean, I know San Francisco's not exactly a great test, but who would you put in their class right now?
I mean, I'm not saying I wanted to argue that, but I'm saying it will be argued till the death. Who are the best? I don't know, man. Like, it goes back to everything I say. Like, they look great. Wentz looks amazing, but you don't know. It doesn't, once the season starts, like, in a month, then I'll tell you who the best team. Like, it doesn't matter, man. Like, think about it. If you could go 15-1 and lose your first playoff game, it means nothing. Like the who was it? The Indians this year in baseball. I do some local radio sometimes.
Native Americans.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, I'm sorry. The Cleveland Native Americans they won like 23 straight games in the regular season or something. And on this radio show here, they're like, "Oh man, this is great." They kept talking about it, and during the break, I'm like, "Who cares, man? Who cares if they don't win at all? This means zero." And they got beat in the first or second round of the playoffs. And I'm like, "Congrats on your 23-game win streak, guys."
Hang a banner, though. They should hang a banner. That's an accomplishment. Mini milestones, AJ. Mini milestones.
I'm not saying you shouldn't win in the regular season, and they're not great. I'm not saying they're not a great team, but I'm just saying we don't know. We don't know yet. All
right. Well, flip it the other way then. Biggest disappointment. And again, this is so far.
Oakland Raiders. They were my team. They were my team. They were I was locked and loaded. Now who knows what's going on? They'll figure it out, but they still have time to get hot. Start feeding Marshawn Lynch. After watching that high school film where he was just running through kids, he looks quick and looks like he's got some power. I think when you start giving him the rock, he looks quick, looks excited. What up, though?
Them or the Giants. I don't know that I was buying into the Giants as being as legitimate as other people were, but yeah, Oakland. I thought AFC Championship game at least, and it's far from over. You know, like you said, they could rattle off 5 straight and win the division or whatever, but that's a mess, and I can't put my finger on it. I mean, Carr just looks like he hasn't recovered. I think they maybe brought him back too soon.
Well, he has a back injury. You never truly, like, especially in the span of one season, you're not going to recover. Well, it was his back, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you got a helmet. Bang, pow. Whee.
Yeah, so I guess if it was like a bone, whatever bruise, then maybe, but I don't know. Like, I keep looking to see how many games did he miss? 1, 2?
I think it was 1 and a bye, right? No, maybe. I don't know.
That's what, when you look at the Raiders, you're thinking like, oh, if you didn't watch anything, you would think, oh, Carr must be out. Quarterback must be hurt, but he's not. Like, he's there. Obviously, Marshawn was suspended this game. They just played, but I don't know what's going on with them.
Yeah, and I thought Lynch would be more productive. Maybe it's like a big ask.
They're not giving him the rock.
He's averaging more than 50 yards a game. I'm shocked. And I just thought, all right, there's a guy whose skill set is not going to miss a year off. In fact, he'll still have some.
I don't know why he's playing football. He's the most electric human of all time. I put a video on my Facebook at Pat McAfee Inc. You can watch it. It's an 8-minute soliloquy of how awesome that guy is. I think if he was to just gift the earth something, just let a camera follow him around and just live. I think he needs to just live. Just like Johnny Football. Just film yourself living, but we're all pretty intrigued by what you're doing off the field. All these. Trent Richardson's back, by the way, speaking of that. Trent Richardson is back, Jack. This is a redemption story for the ages. This is a guy that didn't know how to zag one time, zigged his entire NFL career, going up to Canada, becoming a better version, and then coming back to the NFL and becoming a dominant player after being 2 first-round picks failure.
He's like Zoolander. He can't turn left. He can only zig. He can't zag.
But he's figuring
again-
it out. I'm happy for him, by the way. Very happy for him. Hopefully he's got it all figured out.
I've said before, I thought he was going to be in the Smithsonian as the last top 10 running back draft pick ever. And then the following year, there wasn't a running back taken in the first round, and now the world is lousy with them. And I think it's weirdly starting to go back to
Saquon Barkley is going to be a top 10 pick. If he runs, I think he'll run sub 4.5. He looks fast and athletic. If he does that, he'll be a top 10 pick for sure.
Is it AJ? Is it too soon?
What was that face, AJ? What the fuck was that face?
I mean, you're really stepping out on the ledge there, Pat.
I didn't know. Is that a big deal? That's not a big deal?
Well, no, it's a. What made you say that? Okay, yeah.
I don't
Tom
know
Brady's really good.
Listen, I don't watch college football, man. I don't do that show anymore. I'm fucking all out on that shit. I know your team stole the win at the end of the game against Penn State that could have pissed off a lot of faithful people, but he's like an incredible he's the guy. But he was talking
He's a
about
stud.
he was talking
He's a
about running
monster.
backs not being top 10 picks. He's the one who said it. So that's
Oh
why
no, yeah. Well, you're saying because the running back position has been devalued. That's why Jerry said that.
I think it's coming back. I really do. I think Fournette is going to be.
Fournette,
Zeke.
Zeke, all these guys really helped it out.
And
Zeke just stay home though. Like we just need Zeke to just stay home. Like just get a good group of friends and just buy a nice house and just stay home. Like find ways to have fun at home. Like I do that now. It's a lot of fun. You can find the right house that can entertain the fuck out of you and do that. That's what Zeke needs to do with his friends.
You got to get the Jeter basket and have everybody put their phones in there, though.
Respect for sure. Absolutely. I went to a phone in the basket party, got naked immediately after putting the phone in there.
Who was hosting?
I'm joking, I didn't. But I've heard about one that happens in Arizona, and I hope that I have a friend that gets invited so I can learn about it. I've heard it's awesome. I heard it's wild. I can't go now; I'm too old. But I've never been to one, but I've heard they're wild.
I'm more of a masked orgy in a mansion type of guy.
No, like I don't think they're just sex parties. The phone in the bucket isn't just like a sex party. I don't think that. It's just like basically a lot of wild shit goes down. You just want to go straight to the sex party? That's what you want to do?
Yeah, total eyes wide shut. I mean, classy, tuxedos, masks, in a mansion. Like not just, not some suburban tract house, but I mean something really old aristocrats, like something that's from old money.
You want some high society thoughts walking around. I get it. I know what you're talking about.
Nothing but the best. Like with all those, attorneys and MIT scientists from the documentary.
So let's say that was to happen. Would you go to your father priest, like through the little window thing, and forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I walked into a mansion and slang dick. Would you say that to your father?
Geez, I'd have to. I would have to, or else I'm not getting into heaven. It would have to been a hell of an orgy that I can't talk about it to a stranger through a glass.
So you never go face to face? You go through the glass?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you don't do face to face. It's hard enough, And I've gone one in probably 20 years, and it's only because
I feel like they tried to blackmail me as a kid that you're supposed to go, not blackmail me, but like tell me that you're supposed to go face to face, and you're like soft if you don't. I feel like when I went to a Sunday school or a Saturday school or something, my mom put me in, I think just to get me out of the house. Like I feel like they told me that I'm supposed to go face to face with that guy. Like I'm soft if I don't.
Hopefully you're soft. You would, Pat. I bet if you got in there, you would just virtue signal yourself to the priest.
No, I would
Forgive me, Father. I'm sorry. I spent 6 hours on my homework. I was supposed to only spend 4. I helped out a homeless guy. I bought a bunch of Girl Scout cookies and I donated them to the shelter. Like that's all you would do.
Weakness. I'm a tireless worker. That's my weakness. I'm a tireless worker.
I don't know. I work too hard. I care too much. Yeah.
I want to go to a priest now. I really do want to go sit down face to face in one of them little coffins you guys go in.
Do it.
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. What have you done? Let's get started. Just that's how I would start it with the fucking priest. Let's get started, cuz.
I doubt there's anything you could tell that guy that he hasn't heard, Pat. That's the great thing.
Bet is good. Bet is very good. Bet is good.
Oh, hey, by the way, the Steelers beat the Lions 20-15.
How'd Ben Roethlisberger do? How'd old Uncle Ben do?
I think he did pretty well. Juju Smith-Schuster, I'm sure you follow. If you see like his bike situation that's been going around, he caught like he had a monster day. Almost had 200 yards receiving, but he caught like a 95-yard touchdown pass from Ben, and he went and got a chain and chained up the stationary bike on the sidelines.
What a fucking great week for him to have 200 and some yards. He's hot. He's everywhere. That bike thing is everywhere. Martavis Bryant wants a trade because of how big Juju has gotten, and now Juju is getting famous for being liked, well-liked. Stiff arms Mia Khalifa? Yeah. Mia Khalifa, the porn star, hits her with the, yeah, I don't think so. I'm young, but I'm not dumb. I'm not getting caught up in this DM situation. See you later, cuz. That becomes a gif, a meme. See you later. Then he gets his bike stolen, which becomes national news. NFL Network's reporting it. Then he has 200 yards while Martavis Bryant isn't even being dressed on Sunday Night Football. What a fucking week for Juju. Good for that guy. What a name, first of all. What a fucking name. I know everybody says it. I love it. I might name my kid Juju or Mimi. Or like maybe something like that. But that's an incredible week. He might have one of the best weeks in the history of weeks.
Right. And the best thing he did was adding his name to the very long list of people that told Mia Khalifa to go fry ice because no one's interested in banging her. I give him credit. And the kid isn't even old enough to buy a beer in a bar now.
Fry ice.
That's insane.
Fry ice. What is that? What fry ice?
It's a way of saying that go fuck yourself, but you can say it in like polite company.
Are these Boston sayings, or are these things like you and your boys come up with? What are these?
It's something I think I picked up somewhere along the line. It's not really popular.
No, I think we should make it popular. Go fry ice is like, it's
yeah.
Like,
I learned a lot.
You heat up the ice cubes.
Like coaching kids on the radio, where I could say this and it sounds vaguely dirty, but it actually isn't. You know what I mean? Like,
well, you spent a lot of time in terrestrial radio, didn't you?
Exactly, and never once
you have to be creative.
Did I swear, and they had to use the dump button. So I just was always on the lookout for something I can use to, like, if someone says something shocking and you just, and this is not my thing, it's common, is shut the front door.
Oh.
That's terrible, by the way. Retire that.
Oh yeah, no, but I mean it was an example of something 3-4 years ago you could use. And
what the hello?
Would you say no to Mia Khalifa?
What's that, cuz?
You'd say no to Mia Khalifa if she was
coming at I have a lady that lives with me who will literally kill me if any situation like that was to pop off, and I would not be very interested in Mia Khalifa. I just don't think that's my thing.
With you totally. I think you get a lot more cred just by publicly just shaming her than you would.
No, listen, I respect her just trying to slide into DMs, by the way. If I was a porn star, a female porn star, I would do that too. That's a quick way to get a lot of attention very quickly. That's a quick way to get attention.
But she's also hammered guys who did the same to her, like athletes and stuff. And so you're a lot better off being the slammer than the slammee. And I give the kid at the age of 20 have the wherewithal to just say, oh no, this is not how I'm going to be dealing with my fame. And by the way, he did what Dwight Freeney would have told him to do, which is to step up in prime time under the bright lights and have a great game.
Mm-hmm. He's probably going to be on Team Jordan next week. By the way, I wanted to be the first Caucasian kicker, on Team Jordan. I was hoping to be that guy. Never worked out. Never panned out. Never got a shoe deal.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. You think it's too late? You think you're now that you've written a blog, do you think that your fame will be such that you'll get that reward?
Well, I mean, I broke the internet with my first blog. I mean, that's something that should at least live on in infamy, if nothing else. I think my quest to get on Team Jordan will remain until an offer from another shoe company comes in.
All right. Well, guys,
is that a sellout? That's a sellout move.
No, absolutely not. No, of course. Why wouldn't you want to be Brand Jordan or whoever else offers you the most money?
Our job, like people will call people sellouts is a bad thing. Like, I don't think you're doing life right. I think sellout is if you change the way you are, you're terrible. But if you take money for being who you are, you're doing it right.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like you're
What a quote, by the way. That should be quoted almost. I think what I just said there is an incredible answer to when people call people sellouts. If they
Could you repeat it?
No, I don't think so. It was It was something along the lines of, if you change, then you're like a douchebag. But if you sell out and get paid for who you are and remain who you are, you're doing it right. I think you're doing it right.
But who are you?
Wow, that's a deep question. That's like a Will Smith's kid asked that type of question on the internet all the time. What's his name? Karate Kid. He asks that question all the time. What's his name?
Smith.
Jaden.
Jaden.
Yeah, he's doing great things.
He does some philosophizing out there on the internet with some questions that are wild, very wild. Jim Carrey doing the same thing.
Yeah, I don't need Jim Carrey trying to philosophize. Just make funny noises, make faces, make stupid comedies again. Go back to where I don't know what compels him to distance himself from the thing that made him great, that made him famous, and decide that he now needs to spend the rest of his life trying to convince us that he's a deep thinker.
Well, I think he wants to leave like a wild legacy. I think he wants to leave that. That's like his thing, is he's like excited to do that. And I think he's gotten all in on it. I think he's fully committed. And it'll be interesting to see this new movie because he's doing another Man on the Moon, right? He's doing another fucking special for what's his face?
It's like a documentary on Andy Kaufman or something. I think they're showing like footage of when he made the movie, of how he was like in character, like Daniel Day-Lewis the whole time.
Yeah. So I think that's the path Jim Carrey wants to go down, is like a lot like Andy Kaufman. But my favorite line of his is when he's dressed up like a female, and I think it was in Living Color, and he goes, "Let's start with a stretch," and he fucking bangs his back off the ground and then bounces back up. It's like my favorite clip I've ever. Let's start with a stretch, and then bang off the ground all the way back up. He's like one of the most physically gifted humans in double jointed isms that I've ever seen in my life.
And his sneaky best movie, the one that nobody ever talks about, Me, Myself, and Irene.
I knew you were going to say that's a New England movie. I knew you were going to say you loved it.
Well, all the Farrelly brothers ones essentially are. It's just that one was, you have to watch it a couple of times. People saw it and they go, I don't get what he's trying to do. Brilliant physical comedy playing two completely different guys. And it just flew under everybody's radar. And the three guys who play his sons? You're familiar with the movie, right? He's got...
Yeah, of course.
Sons. And they were going to do a spin-off just with those guys, like a sequel, which would have been the funniest movie in the history of the world. But Me, Myself, and Irene didn't make enough money, so the studio just said, we're not going to bankroll it. It would have been genius. Like Anthony Anderson, and they just...
But you just said that the movie was so good because Jim Carrey was so talented being two different creatures. That's having a different brain, right? Everything he's doing now is very different brain having type stuff.
Yep, but he was making us laugh before.
You're so disappointed.
Making us laugh, and he couldn't hack it. Well, fellas, speaking of laughing, this was great again. Thanks for another.
Hey AJ, who's the best team in the NFL?
San Francisco 49ers.
Yikes.
I don't know.
This is supposed to be an NFL show, AJ.
I don't know, Pat. Honestly, I don't know. That's not my thing. Just not my thing to pick a winner right now.
I like that. Be where your feet are. Listen.
I am right where my feet.
Listen, be where your feet are. Okay. Let's not think ahead. Let's not think behind. Let's think right now. It's called a present for a reason. It's a gift. Let's go.
AJ Strong. Well, it was a great time, fellas. Thanks again. We'll talk to you next week. He's at official AJ Hawk. He's at Pat McAfee Show. We, of course, are at Laces Out Show on Twitter and Instagram. This is going to be another one that we're going to send to the Museum of Broadcasting, and they're going to use this to teach others how to podcast. And anything else you guys want to add, or do we bounce?
I want to say this. Halloween's tomorrow night. Like, just go out there and have a good time. And if you see a kid that looks like a terrible kid, have something on deck for him, like a couple Mountain Dews, like super caffeine things, so you really ruin his parents' evening because it's their fault that he is the way he is. So now it is your time to pay back from society on how terrible that kid is for the parents. Pay them back. Jack that kid up. Give him all the things you can give him that'll get him. Even give him maybe a Starbucks coffee if you have to. Get that kid ready to fucking go all night.
Red Bull. Red Bull is absolute kryptonite for parents.
Yep, do it. Mountain Dew, Red Bull, and a 5-hour energy, and say, take this all now so you can get another handful because you deserve it.
That's right. And a Four Loko. Send them home.
AJ,
It's
have
against
have
the law, AJ.
tomorrow night, and be. I'm not going to say be safe. I'm so sick of that. Just everyone knows to be safe. You don't have to tell us to. Just enjoy your friggin' holiday. Dress up and make the most of it. All right, this is.